Either way, I think it's going to be an interesting IPO. We don't know when it'll open up. Sometime between now and when we come back at 2 o'clock, I promise you it'll be open. We've never seen one. Well, I don't think we've ever seen an IPO that was after 2 o'clock. It's been close, but I don't think it's ever been that bad. Oh shoot, we didn't do what's for lunch.
I don't have the menu.
I do.
So we could do it. Okay, let's.
Yeah, I was doing it all week.
NVIDIA must have news. Let's go. What's for lunch? Because
well, I have the button now. Thank you, Ramin. I finally got the button, and give me a second because I actually have to pull the email back up, as I already hit the button, and hopefully I saved it. Right one? Yeah, this is the right one. That's breakfast.
All right, there it is. There's no flags on that one?
Which is
Do you have it or what?
There we go.
There we go.
Oh, that's the wrong one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's next week.
It better not be Japanese. If it's teriyaki,
I just had next week's up.
If it's teriyaki tilapia.
No, my bad. I have to search for it because I just had next week's up. It's this one that I want. There we go. It is a Canadian flag. Okay. We can deal with that.
What was it the last time? Last time we got sandwiches or something was Canada, wasn't it? Like sandwiches.
This is not a Canadian dish. Roasted salmon with creamy lemon butter.
That's what it was.
How is that Canadian?
It's salmon, man, salmon.
And then we have honey roasted potato.
Okay.
The salad's a Caesar salad. I'm not a huge Caesar salad fan person. The problem with Caesar salad is I feel like everybody that does Caesar salad puts too much Caesar dressing, or it's just too.
It comes on the side.
No, but the dressing, it's too heavy.
It's too thick, yeah.
It's too thick. Like a good Caesar dressing is supposed to be a little bit lighter. You go to a good restaurant. Anyways, that's just nitpicking. It's past 11 o'clock. You know who's next to us. It's Joey Options. It's Sharif the Professor. Katina Man is back in the house. We're going to get some salmon, which is an incredibly Canadian dish. We're going to enjoy, and then we'll be back at 2 o'clock.
Thank y'all.
Bro, YOLO. YOLO. No, but like in a literal sense.
Boom. Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. I don't know what this is. I think this is money.
No.
Is it? What is that?
It's it's the Korean heart.
Korean heart. Is that how they do? They don't go like this?
No, like this. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the heart looks like this, so we should just be like, there's the heart.
Yeah.
All right, let's say hello to everybody. Happy Friday, everybody. The Bash Brothers are in the freaking house. Energy's about to get lit right now. Shout out to Chewers Live.
Look, you're long.
I'm long Intel and short silver, apparently. No, I'm not. Hangry. We got Varun, Qwen, the auspicious turtle, Mr. Janky, frickin' stock, Mike Learn. How about Pedra? The real Gary. We got Brett Green, Joey, and SE 45,008. Clint Hamilton. Happy Friday, right back at you, brother. We got Derek Thompson, Anon Purse. Who else? I want new names, people. Derek Thompson. We got Jacob Savage. He's a savage, Joey. Outlawed, freaking trader. Dirch. We got Indy. We got Kirk D. We got Texas Boy and Manifest. Codes now, as opposed to before. You want to be doing it now. Rise and shine, right? Like that name, Honky Kong 25. I like that one, man. Honky Tonk. Maximilian, we got Backbone Video. Shout out to Ted Ease and Boosted Ret Sport. Saul, Papacito, Mike P. D. Ryder. Who else? City Boy 305. We got Frank Trades 99. Peter King. Gray Worm Options Deep. And one more, Joey.
Yeah, one more.
I'm trying to look for a good one here. Yeah. Digital Good Time. You are here. I see your name. He said here, question mark. Digital Good Time. I interpret that in many different ways that I can think of anyway. There's a lot going on. MXL is into the high, but before we start, let's see what your boy Joey Options is.
Yeah, let's get right into things. What we're going to do is I'm going to pull up social media. We're going to take a look at what we got going on from the people from TikTok. Bravely, thank you very much. We got Mr. Newman, Power Up Publish, Randy, Talent, Sherlock. In the chat again, it's Eli, Jeff Jerzik, Singh, Gore, T-Rock. Man, it seems like there's a lot of people in there. We're going to have to pop up into that chat. For some reason, it doesn't let me sign into it sometimes. I'll open up the screen. It'll say too many attempts on the login. I haven't even tried yet. Yeah, we don't know what's up with that. That's the only reason why we're not in there. Anyways, Joanko, P. Chen, what's up? Jose, Maya, Annabelle, what's cooking? A couple more, JR, Tia, and Lee Fiodo. What's going on, everybody? Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. It is Friday. Market continuing to climb higher. We have AMD around 346. I'm looking at when my scanners hit, I'm like, what is actually going on here? We were talking about a bear call spread on AMD at 315. See you later. Those are absolutely smoked, unfortunately, but it is what it is, and I highly doubt that it's going to close south of that by the end of the session. Nonetheless, guys, couple attempts here on the TQs. It was just chopping around the first little bit. Boom. That was it there. 1, 2, no go. We thought we'd get the breakout. Eventually comes back in and continues to climb a little bit higher. Same thing here with AMD. We're like, oh, okay, nice, inverted right there. See if we get that breakdown after that massive gap up. No, off to the races it goes. So AMD and the TQs, that's it for me here today. Only those 3 guys. So we'll be patient. We'll see what we got going on. It is Friday. Bitcoin starting to come back in. Market looking pretty strong. Not too bad of a look whatsoever. Let's actually, before we send it back over to Shreve, let's pull up those contracts that we were talking about the other day on Thursday, I believe. All right, so we're gonna head over to AMD. We're gonna head over to that 315 mark, and we were collecting about $115. All right. All right, so we're collecting $115 at those 315s. Those are now what? Okay, that's got to be joking. Okay, no, yeah, we got to go over to today's expiration. May 1st, no, it's 7 days. It's not giving us, okay, there we go, 24th, be patient. And those are worth a substantial, holy smokes, $31, so $3,100 from a couple hundred. Let's watch the appreciation of these here over the past couple of days. Absolutely insane. Oh, great, this thing is doing that still. What a fidgety
embarrassing.
Yeah, it is. Look at this, Sharif.
Is that the IPO? Oh, I thought that was an IPO. I'm like, where's that price action?
4,700%. Yeah, AMD off to the races.
Unreal.
Absolutely insane stuff right there, guys. Disasters if you tried to write those.
Can you imagine? Imagine taking puts on that. Like,
no, it's not even puts would be horrible too, but the writing of the call.
The writing, you'd be substantially out of the money on that, yeah.
You would be destroyed. It would be
destroyed.
Something that
just
you would collect.
give up, bro. It's all over for you.
So you would collect. So what the spiel was is you collect $116. So the max.
For writing the call.
Yeah. So you make $116 max.
Right.
Now they're worth now they're worth $3,000. So you just lost $2,900.
No, that's not funny, man.
No, it's not.
I don't mean to laugh, but yeah, sometimes it's just things are comically volatile in the market. Let's get right down to work, guys. There's a couple that are going here, so let's look at them. MXL, it's very expensive, okay? This is not typically one that we're trading on this side of the desk for small cap gappers, but certainly moving like one today. Let me tell you that, baby. All right, so it's up 80.5%. It's basically $62, $61.87. It's not strictly a small cap gapper. It's $5.5 billion market cap, but this thing, from the closing print yesterday, which closed at around $34.5, we're up big, and I'm assuming we added substantial amounts to the market cap as a result of that move up. So MXL, loving the chart pattern, loving it, right? Respect a lot for VWAP, for the 10 EMA. It's generally holding higher lows and higher highs, generally holding structure as well. Support at 60. Look at that flat top there at 60 once, twice. OBE is the one thrice. Couldn't break 60. Then right at 1050, right when we sit down, as the Katina man was calling it out, it ripped above 60 and into 62.86, essentially $63 or thereabouts. $60 looks beautiful, but you're gonna have to likely give it about $1 worth of room for the stop because it could wick below it, right? The spread is quite okay. Right now it's 13 pennies on a $62 name, not too bad. Done 16.8 million shares on the day, so ample amount of liquidity. But I gotta tell you the truth. Based upon the price, and I might be a little bit hesitant to punch into this one. Poet is the other one that I'm looking at here. Poet's a repeat offender. It's been locked up many times. 1450. I like this level. That is the pre-market high. Sorry, the implied balance high. Look at that wick rip in about 1440. So let's just say 1450. And then the 10 EMA is also holding up at 1450. And when you look at these bottoming tail candles, I'm talking about the 1040 candle and the 1045 candle on the 5-minute chart. All of them find support at 1450. So we'll see if Poet can hold up there. And then Bovin was telling me about ENVB. I'm going to cover ENVB when we get back from Madeira at the big desk.
A whole host of comments here coming from Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel. So keep an eye here on the market and also in USO. Here's the market pretty strong. USO, though, also making a little bit of a move here. So he's basically saying that, quote, we have retained full freedom of action to counter any threats from Hezbollah, but adding that they have actually begun, quote, a process towards achieving a historic peace between Israel and Lebanon. That being said, he did say that they will attack Hezbollah today. So lots of different emotions coming across the gamut here, truthfully, from Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel. He did also say that Israel's working with President Donald Trump of the U.S. in full cooperation. So yeah, lots of comments. Some of them are peaceful, some of them are not as peaceful, but we'll keep you posted. Back to you.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Let me just keep going here, Joey, if you don't mind. So ENVB, Bovin, you know, I want to trade ENVB because it's a multi-day runner. We've been seeing this one on the scanner. You can see it broke out on the 20th, had a decent day yesterday, at least initially, then kind of faded off, couldn't break VWAP. So it's a repeat offender. It showed up many times, and it's up a very respectable amount on the day, 52 going on 53%. Problem is, it just lost the volume-weighted average price. Now, there's clearly a buyer at $6. Look at that. That halt up at 950. We gap up big, right above 608. Then look at all these bottoming tail candles that breach 6, but the closing prints are what is always important for me. And all those closing prints are above 6. But I don't know if this is going to be a Christmas tree retracement. You know, in other words, green on one side, red on the other, and then all the way right back down. Let's see if it holds up at 6. There's clearly a buyer there because the prior two candles, 11 o'clock, 11:05, all have support at 6. That's the good news. The bad news is they keep putting in lower highs. So the buyers are not stepping up substantially enough to be able to outdo the sellers. So watching ENVB. Sorry, Joe, a couple of more here. SCNI. This looks like a dang sound wave over here. It does look like a compression pattern. We are putting in lower highs, but on the other side of the coin, we are also putting in higher lows. So let's see which way this cookie crumbles, okay? If it breaks out above the trend line on a decisive closing basis, we go long. If it breaks down below, we'll look over to Neil. We'll find out how much the shorts are going to cost us, and then we'll assess our situation then. Last one here, MX. This is pretty above it. I want to hear what you have to say about this. 26%, barely any breaches of the 10 EMA. You get one and one only. That was at 11 a.m. It did breach the 10 EMA on the 5 on a wick basis, but was able to get bought up right above it. And here it is again, taking out prior bar high. We have about 9 pennies or so to the high of the day. 547 HOD showing 538 at the moment. So that's what I'll be looking at there. And then City Boy 305, shout out to my man. He was pointing this one out. This is CTNT, sub $1. In fact, sub 50 pennies at the moment, but sub $1. Try sub 10 cents, bro. I read that wrong. This thing is 4 pennies. Okay, so maybe we'll reassess here. In any event, though, it's breaking trend. It's trying to make a move above the volume-weighted average price. It did take out that 9:30 a.m. high, the implied balance high, but it was way higher in the pre. So it looks like it's failing right now below the volume-weighted average price. So I'm hesitant to jump into this one. Joey, I lied. I got one more. MSOX. So this one flushed, all sorts of flushed yesterday. So big move up there on the news at legalization or the rescheduling of marijuana in the United States. And then it basically sold the entire news. Today, it looks pretty good, man. We're not even close to where we were yesterday, but we're recovering a little bit. 319 high. We're at the day's high as we speak. So this one will be, one to watch, but we'll see. We'll see about this. ENVB just lost $6, Bovin, so I think I'm going to take this one off the side chart. Joe.
All right. Good stuff there, Sharif. This is what we're going to talk about. NVDA only about $3 off of its all-time high. $212, you're at 209. Watch by probably, let's call it Wednesday next week. We'll probably get a gap up coming into Monday, and then boom, off to the races it goes, new all-time high. Why? Because we have AMD in that woods, right? All-time high. What a gap up. Okay, so it's so comical, right? Like, you have to just sit at it and essentially laugh. It's like, this is an absolutely insane run. Watch what happens after, right? Like, it doesn't matter. You could be the best in breed. You will see some form of a pullback. So don't feel FOMO and start chasing. Eventually, you will get that move. And I'm not saying you're going to get 268 or it's going to drop 30% or anything along those lines, but you could probably get 300s because this is just like pure exuberance. This is everyone getting giddy and just like, okay, we're climbing. And if you're looking to invest in it, and longer term, maybe not so bad, but if you're like, hey, I'm looking to make a quick buck, swing trade this, just be cautious because this pullback can be absolutely pretty dramatic, right? Like, so just keep that in mind regardless of what happens. Where did we see this before? Oh yeah, the same name multiple years ago, back in March of 2024. Okay, so you just have this consistent uptrend. Sure enough, boom, off to the races. Is it the same sentiment? Is it the same narrative? No, I don't think so. Slightly different, but it doesn't matter what the stock is or where it is. Eventually, you'll get some form of a pullback is what I'm getting at, regardless of the name. Even in Intel, you will, like, this is a massive gap up. At some point, you'll probably get a move back into $70 or something along those lines. I'm not saying that's going to happen next week. I'm not going to say it's going to happen next month, but at some point, I believe you will. It's just how the nature of the beast is and how the market just continuously goes up and down. Here's the NASDAQ, right? Probably putting in a new high, all-time high right now. So 551 off of that low, 556 is going to be that level. You're up 20% in the span of a month. So good stuff over here. Are you going to get a retest of this previous high? At some point, I believe you will. Did we think that we were going to break down a little bit more and be down more than 12%? Yeah, I think the majority of individuals did. Are you still short? I hope not. Because things broke. What I think is going on right now is the market is just pricing, baking out the war. So once that comes to a conclusion, I wouldn't be surprised if you see a little bit of an uptick.
Look at the 4 hour.
Then that pullback on 4 hour on what?
On what do you got there? The Qs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pull up the 4 hour on the Qs. It shouldn't be that much different.
Yeah.
No. Okay, pull up the SPY then. Sorry. Yeah, the SPY. Because this morning we're in a bit of a holding pattern. There it is.
Yeah.
So look at that, kind of a bull flag, consolidation, waiting, right? The market kind of moving sideways until hopefully the end of the war is near, and then I feel, boom.
Off to the races you go. And or it's like, hey, you get an uptick in the financials. Like if the financials start to become strong, right? Like because it's the second heaviest weighted sector within the S&P, then off to the races it goes, like 720 and continuing to climb. So are you going to be chasing it all the way up here? I'm not. Are you going to miss out on some potential gains? Absolutely. That's just the nature of the beast. And a lot of people did. This is a big time V-shaped reversal. It's like, who thought that we were going to just recover that quick? I don't think the majority of individuals did. So don't feel any type of way of it because there's going to be plenty of opportunities. Guess what? The market's going to be here indefinitely. It's not going anywhere, and you're going to find some good chances there.
All right, Bhavin, I'm watching 15 on Poet. I'm not ready to punch yet on Poet. It's dilly-dallying. It feels like a bull flag that's undecided whether it wants to have continuation. 15.27 high, but I'll submit to you that there's real resistance at 15. So I'm continuing to watch that. People are yelling about MX, and they should be, because here it is. My concern here with MX is it's on the way to the $0.50. I missed this. I should have been getting in at around the third of a dollar, but here it is, 47 high. If it breaks through 50, this could be a little bit, if it breaks through 50 decisively, I'll get in. But I got to tell you guys, I'm not loving anything right now. I'm not going to trade MXL. It's just, it doesn't fit my parameters. It's not like a multiple halter like Skills yesterday where it's expensive, but we can punch in because there's an obvious trend. And it's just, it doesn't fit my parameters. Also, LIDAR, though, I want to mention LIDAR. LIDR is making a move here. I saw Mike P. DeRider talk about it, so I put it up on the side chart. This one initially I didn't want to put on because it was below VWAP, but it's recovering here above the volume weighted average price, so definitely interested in that. We'll talk about more when we get back from Adara.
Heads up, this is pretty minor, but I do want to let you guys know we're seeing more posturing here and I guess signs of potential escalations in the Middle East. Iran reportedly saying their missile stockpiles, their missile city stockpiles are so full that their surplus could be gifted to enemy bases and nearby territories. So again, more tensions here. Iran indicating they have quite a few, I guess, stockpiles. Back to you.
I'd say that too, wouldn't you? You're like, yeah, I got everything. I got tanks, I got helicopters, I got it all, baby. Yeah. Don't with me, but. Yeah, we'll see what's in reality. There goes MX through the $0.50, 553 high. Okay, let's watch now. Let's see if this can actually hold above the $0.50. And this is why I didn't want to get in. I didn't want to get in because of the $0.50 resistance, but this one doesn't really look like it's concerned at all with that $0.50 resistance. So watching here, MX looking decent. No, right down below the $0.50 again. Let's watch for continuation. That's what I want. I want that move clearly above the $0.50, and then we can start looking to 3/4 and even the whole at 6. So nothing for me quite yet, Joey. Anything on your end that you're interested in?
Yeah, absolutely. Just going through the chat. Sorry, I thought I had it up here. I couldn't find anything. A lot of people agreeing. I mean, yeah, we'll be patient, man, and we're going to find some high-quality opportunities. Good things come to those who wait, as they typically say. So, I mean, it's obviously fast and furious, and it's like, oh, no, what do we do? But nonetheless, I like where we're sitting. I always like it no matter what. guys, if you want to go over some things, let's put some names in the chat. What we can go. I don't know. This is it's driving me absolutely through the wall. All right, so let's pull this up. We had AMD, INTC. Continuous uptrend right here. Boom, higher lows, nice look. Same thing with the Nasdaq. We can head over to the SPY on the 1 minute. IBIT starting to come oppo the overall market. Second largest holding right here. I'd like it to participate a little bit more than what it's doing, considering we have some of the tech names just continuously climbing. But what can we really complain about? 19% off of those lows. We'll take it. It's better than nothing. It's better than it going. Did you get that in your ear?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
No, what happened?
Market reestablished now.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't get that.
Okay, I just got it there, yeah, but it went fired back on.
That's funny.
All right.
Yeah, I get it when you get it, right?
Yeah. So 20% off of those lows, pretty good. But what was this bounce relative to that previous pivot? I mean, you get 18% there, so very similar. And this is something that I was just keeping an eye out on. I was expecting that we would have a little bit more stronger of a recovery. Not necessarily the case, but maybe we need to be more patient and wait for more participants to get trapped. And that's probably going to be the short. Sailor, I think, in my opinion, is essentially the one moving price right now, as he's continuously buying this stuff up. I mean, obviously, we can't call it a market cap, but the value of total Bitcoin is substantial, and it might not be all him, but a lot of it has to do, like 34,000 he's allocating. He's grabbing it by the tens of thousands each individual time, and sure enough, you start to see these upticks. So what we have really is a transition from the whales into essentially sailors' wallets, which I find somewhat funny. And then sure enough, we got...
I like how you put that.
It is essentially what it is. That's essentially what's going on, is the whales into sailors' wallets. And then, who was it? I think it was somebody else is launching their ETF relatively soon as well, a pretty big fund. Ackman, yeah, he's releasing.
He's already shopping it around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he's releasing his Bitcoin ETF. I don't know how that's going to compare to the iShares, but hey, that's just showing that more of these larger participants are getting involved in this thing.
Sorry, I didn't think I didn't know you were talking about Bitcoin ETFs. I thought you were just talking about ETFs.
No, it was somebody. Yeah, it wasn't blocked. It's a Bitcoin ETF. I forget who it is. I can look into it and find it pretty quick. But there goes just more of these larger companies getting involved with this stuff, with IBIT being the most successful ETF launch of all time. It's unfortunate that it's still down 40%.
Yeah, sad. Guys, I'm thinking about punching here into MSOX. I'm not ready to get into Poet. It's still putting in lower highs. It's still south of 15. It's going to be MX, at least for the moment. It's going to be either MX or MSOS. MSOS has been awfully respectful of the 10 EMA on the 5. I'm going to give this one the old community college try. We're going to give it to the breach of, I'm going to give it a couple of shekels below the 10 EMA into 12. So let's see over here. Let's see what we got. All right, so there we go. Let's go ahead with that. And we're going to punch into right on time. Okay, good job there. Looking for, so I said I was going to give it to 311. So let's go ahead and put that there. So what do we get? We got 18s. Oh, boo. I thought I had 17s there. Okay. So if it loses the 10 EMA on the 5, which currently is showing me 14s, we're gonzino. And here comes Poet again. Poet's making another move, try to above 15. Poet is breaching prior bar high. And here, there's a good, nice squeeze here on Poet into 1506. So prior bar high was 15 on the dot. So this is breaching 15 and breaching prior bar high. Bit more expensive, but not too bad on Poet. 1527 high, so we're pretty close. So let's just say the $quarter-ish, right, is the high of the day, a couple of shekels above it. But I don't know, man. I'm still a little suspicious here of Poet. You give it maybe to 15, but then that's probably not a sound trade if you were to do that. Let me switch up here on my risk calculator. Let's see what the Poeted one would. Yeah, let's go like this. I'd have to give it to like 97s or something. I couldn't give it. No, see, it's coming back down to 15, man. I don't know how I feel about Poet, Joey, at these levels. And there it goes, right back down below 15. No, man. Breaking 1527 will be a new all-time high, says Bovin. I didn't even realize that. I need to be putting my multi-time frame analysis on as default on my trading screens here. I was talking to Joey before we got on. I'm like, I think I'm going to change the layout of my screen so that I have a bit of a different layout. You guys will be able to see my scanner and my charts at all times. And then And then yeah, we'll be able to kind of offer a bit of a different look there. So MSOX, my price is what on this? Give me a second because I have to do my 317.15. Okay, so 317.5. All right. So my 1R on MSOX is going to be just shy of the $0.25. 1R. 2R will be 330. So we're showing 18s. That's going to require a high of day breach here because high of day on MSOX is 22s. So we'll see what we get on that. There's Poet again above the $15 area. We've opened up a new bar now. So the 1120 bar, 1507 high. The 1125 bar, the one that we just opened up, also a 1507. No, 1509 now. So we've breached prior bar high. Let's watch now. Can we get through that 10 penny area? If we do, I'm just going to give it to below 15, okay? Because Poet could be on its horse here, and it could rip up into 1527. So I want to watch over here. Let me flip back to my, yeah, perfect, 1497. So we're just going to continue to watch here. Let's see if we can get through 1510. If we can get through 1510 and start moving on up, I'm going to get in and give it to just below 14. There's a seller here at 1510. Bigger than the 9 and the 8s, but I think there was also a hidden order there that we need to concern ourselves with, and there it is, dropping right back into 15. So I'm not gonna punch here above it until we get above 1510. I see LiDAR living in color. I love that. It just broke above the volume weighted average price. I'm alive to that. Thanks to Mike PD Ryder for calling that out. But I'm not quite ready to punch in on that one yet. And there goes Poet, right down below 15 again. Yeah, I'm not getting involved in Poet. It's not complying here. Darth Trader PM. I have a similar trading style. I put multi-time frames in another tab, same screen as my side charts, works well for me to lock into a stock and not get distracted. Yeah, which is what I have over here, Darth Trader. Let me just show you. So look at the bottom tabs there. See where it says a multi-time frame? And that's what we were trading testosterone replacement therapy yesterday. Who remembers that one?
Fire.
Right? Fire. So as soon as I click, 1 minute top left, 5 minute top right, 15 bottom left, and hour bottom right. But I want to have this up at all times. It's just that you run out of real estate, man, with all these different charts and screens that you have on here. How's the lunch, Katina, man? What did we get, brother? You got salmon? Is that everybody gets salmon? Because I know you're special. You get salmon on your own. Because I took one of your salmons last week. That's how I know you get the salmon.
Everybody gets salmon.
Everybody gets salmon today.
I had salmon last night.
You had salmon last night?
Again, man, I'm on the Maple barbecue.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
Can I pull something up here real quick? You got something? All right, man.
Go ahead,
Let's talk a little bit about this market as NVDA is going to continue to climb higher. Now we're up to 209. We were talking about 208. Is it going to squeeze in the latter half of the session? I wouldn't be surprised if it did, right? Like, this is a massive bull flag breakout. Shreve was talking about the one on the SPY, just consolidative, and then boom, off to the races it goes. As it opens up in the middle of the range and then continuing with the high of almost around 210. I'm not going to put it past this market to climb all the way up to 212, right? It's going to be a lengthy leg, but it can happen. If AMD is just absolutely gone parabolic, we were talking about yesterday, Neil and I, the next company that can potentially hit the $1 trillion club. We know that JP Morgan is the closest, around 800 billion. But, I mean, this stock needs to double, and we were talking about it at 308 or something along those lines yesterday when we needed it to double from a market cap standpoint and from a price standpoint in order to hit that $1 trillion club. I don't know. Has AMD ever split? I don't think it has. That's a great question, Joseph. Let's figure it out right now and see what we have going on here with AMD. Have you ever split?
Ask it, Joey.
No, from according to what I see, it has not. Right? So, I mean, it gets up to that $600 mark. Is it going to? Is it going to split before Meta? Potentially, but I like what Meta's doing here, continuing to climb high. 672. We were talking about like, oh no.
7, huh?
Yeah, 672, brother. Only about like 15% or so off of that all-time high. Let's see if we can get this to work for us. Yeah, 16.5, so we're pretty close, just doing math off the top of our head. 16.5% off that all-time high. You have a lot of the other names, Broadcom, Apple NVIDIA only a couple of points. Google's on that path if it hasn't hit it already today. Let's see where we're at, 42s. Yeah, so we're again now like 1.5%. So it's only a matter of time until the Magnificent Seven are once all great again and hit that all-time high. I mean, I don't think they've ever left being great, but nonetheless, you had that 20% pullback without the exception of AAPL, and then now we're all at all-time highs. So strong market, and I think a lot of it has to do with CapEx, man. It's a revolutionary change, in my opinion. It's a fundamental change just with the use of AI and the build-out, and sure enough, the market pricing that in, man.
Well said, Joey. Not going well for me here on MSOX. We're about 4 pennies out of the money. It's about to lose the 10 EMA. And this is the first time, I'd say, since basically 9:30, man, that we have been below the 10 EMA. So continuing to watch that as well. MXL just also lost simultaneously the 10 EMA for the first time on a closing basis. The candle at 11.25 just closed below the 10. Let's see if it holds up at 60. We were talking about this level being an interesting level here on MXL for a possible 60 hold. Let's go 59, let's just 59.98 area hold. That would be, all right. Okay, so we might give this one the old college try at around 60 to give this one an opportunity to hold 60. There it goes, losing 60 in a hurry. But the spread is opening up now as the buyers and sellers kind of duel it out below the 60 area, current bar low. Come on, dude, don't do that to me. 59.71 or thereabouts, that's current bar low. So that's getting bought up here. Let's see if this holds up above 60. It doesn't look like it's holding up above 60 here. Yeah, the ask is above 60, bid is below. Just continuing to watch. So if this ends up finding support at 60 and wants to make another move back into the highs, I might participate in this one, even though it is expensive. So we're gonna think about that one, and then in the meantime, we're sending you to Adara.
Crypto time. Let's take a look at the daily chart for BTC now. We have not been able to get past that 80,000 level, but of course we do know on Wednesday we had this rally that got us to 79 halves as far as I'm seeing on the TradingView chart. Now Ethereum continuing though to be slightly relatively weak when it's compared to Bitcoin. These two initially were moving in tandem, but as you can see, Bitcoin actually, or Ethereum, started getting a lower high on the daily chart. Let's look at the weekly charts for both of these as we end the week. So Ethereum, 1, 2, 3, 4-week green streak is what we're poised to have here, up 2.5% on the week thus far, but some of these topping tail candles looking a little bit concerning perhaps on the weekly. Bitcoin, meanwhile, 4 strong green candles to the upside and a decisive push, still staying near week highs here for BTC of 5.5% in the week, currently trading just shy of 78K, and again, high of week, 79 halves. Let's see if we can break that 80 before Sunday, which is when the week ends for these BTC charts. Back to you.
All right, in MXL at the fifth of a dollar, breaching through the half, looking for 2/3. It's holding up generally at 60, got stopped out. How did I risk that much on MSOX? How did I screw that up? I think I screwed up my calculation there on MSOX. Got stopped out of MSOX. It's losing the bid. Focusing now on MXL. Let's see if this holds up above 60. I've given it to a barely below 60, so that will risk about, 25-ish or so pennies. But I'm looking for support at this level. I'm just hoping that the support doesn't come with bamboozlement, right? It breaches below 60, stops me out because of the spread and because of the volatility, and then moseys on up. Here comes 55. There's 63, 64. Looking for the move into 75 here. 69 showing up. Let's watch a little bit more. There's a bit of a bid coming in. Don't want to take out too much too quickly. Let's see if we can mosey up above 70. There's 70, okay? Good move. Nothing really to write home about yet. Would like to see $1 or $2 in the money on this one, given the price, but we're not getting that immediately here, and the buyers are not stepping in that aggressively, quite frankly. So we'll continue to watch here, Joey.
Good luck. Oh, I thought I just deleted that whole thing. Yeah, I mean, here it is. We'll pull up some other charts here, guys. We'll run through our watch list and see what we got going on. We'll start at the bottom. We always start at the top, so let's go bottom up. Lockheed Martin. We'll take a look at this name. Ouch.
Get it, Joey.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough look there, Sharif. Down 26%.
LMT?
Yeah,
They
on
reported
LMT.
yesterday, right?
Yeah, they reported.
MXL.
Go MXL. You want to talk about it? Or
No, we're about to get into 61 though, Joey.
Okay.
So close in.
CVNA, Carvana, we had that short report curl over. It was selling for quite some time, but then a solid recovery right here. Hims and Hers falling into the headlines as well. eBay, I mean, we don't really talk about this name too often. Chewy, we'll probably get this chart off the list too. Procter and Gamble, though, PG, with a massive gap up, giving off of that report here, guys, but giving back most of its move here today. Yeah, it was a pretty strong stuff. Not doing too much here today, and we don't really talk about it often enough, but there is some liquidity issues. UNH starting to recover, but Walmart all the way back up to $130 coming off of this high. So hopefully what we don't do is fail to break through that previous high. We're only down 4% off of that level. Now, as for Costco continuing to climb, I said, hey, this might be one of the next names, considering we have Walmart in the $1 trillion club. Costco sitting around 600 billion or a little bit less than that, I believe. Let's actually pull that up right now and get more accurate with our, okay, get out of the way. Like, why are you even
Tell it, Joey.
Like, why is this even here? Like, move. Oh, my. It's the one that I want to hit. Anyways,
man.
Aside from that, yeah, that's annoying, man. This thing's driving me nuts. JPM, not doing too good, man. These banks, I'm telling you, once the banks start to trade aggressively and climb higher and make that push for the all-time high, that's when you're going to see the SPY just continue. Right now, it's a rotation back into the tech trade. The AMDs, the Broadcoms, the Marvells, NVDA now starting to break up. It's like, hey, what are you doing at AMD? NVIDIA is like, we are the best, and we're going to start to continue to climb and be some of the best price action. Goldman Sachs, all the banks across the floor. Even XLF is just down substantially. But we do have a primary trend break right here, right? So we sit on the backside of it, off to the races it goes. And that's what you want to see. So some of the cruise lines here, RCL, CCL, NCLH, not doing too much either. We talk about the airlines coming off of the highs, UAL, BA, DAL, all not really doing anything. So tech, 110% back in Vogue, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You just need to look at the semiconductors and you have that idea. Guys, I'm about to get stopped out. I do believe I did get stopped out. Yep. For more than break even. We moved up our stop. Maybe a bad idea by me, but I saw resistance at 61 on MXL, which also happens now to be the 10 EMA. So if you're a mechanical trading system, and look at it flushing, right? That was a good out. If you're a mechanical trading system and you're looking to the moving averages as areas of support and resistance, as we've seen, MXL found a lot of support at the 10 EMA when it was north of it, trading above it. Now that it's trading south of the 10 EMA, especially overlapping with the whole dollar at 61, there's resistance there. So out of the trade, positive trade for me. We're negative on the day because of MSOX. I think I screwed up for whatever reason, my risk calculator there, because I ended up taking double the amount of risk that I wanted to take, but that's fine. We can get right back into Greensville here on MSOX. We're not that much out of the money. Where is my MSOX trade? All right, so that's frustrating. So it looks like it's going to be a 20 EMA hold here on MXL, and it's right back into 315, breaching prior bar high. In fact, the candle that just closed, the one at 1130, is a bit of a doji candle if you're looking at it on the 5. So continuing to watch that one. Here it comes into 16 again. Now, I have to think about this one. I just have to make sure that my risk parameter is right on that one, Rainey. I don't know how I took double the risk that I know, I didn't mean to. Don't do it. Right? He's like,
man.
He's like that, you know. There's, you know, you ever see those?
That?
Yeah. What is it called? Like when you have the devil and
yeah,
the angel there?
Yeah, you know which one's talking
Randy's the angel. He's like,
which
don't
one's
do
talking
it,
to
bro.
me?
Which one?
Both
Oh,
of them,
yeah.
my boy.
They both talking to you, eh? What's the devil saying?
He's saying just do your thing, man.
Just do your thing, huh?
Same with the angel.
And the angel, they're both saying the same thing?
Exactly.
How can you tell them apart then?
The color.
I like that kind of boy. Way to spot on that one. I was like, how can you tell? All right, anyway, we're having a good time. So MSOX, right back into 16 here. Looking for another entry on this one. Now, I did have trouble clearing that 18 area. So if 18 clears, I'm going to get back in MSOX. And I'm also seeing that MXL, bad out there for me, is right back into trend. So if this one clears 61 and gets above the 10 EMA, I'm going to get back into this one. Simple as that. But it's having trouble clearing that 10 EMA. It's having trouble clearing 61. So I'm not ready to do anything with this one quite yet. And also Poet, Bovin, look, topping tail candle into a new high of day, 1536. But look, it's failing again at 15. So to me, this is either going to be a loss of the 15 level, or this is a gnarly looking bull flag from which we're going to rock it up, maybe into 16, maybe more. The length of this bull flag, let's just say 12.5 at the bottom, and let's just say 15 at the top. So right away, you got about $2.50 worth of range there. That's not too bad, right? So we can kind of project that upwards. If Poe really catches a bid, it could double the percentage up on the day into maybe, what's Poe up here? 27 could be up 50% when all is said and done. So I'll continue to watch that, Joey.
All right, good stuff. Yeah, so we have our eyes. Tesla not really doing too much. Intel slowly starting to curl over. Are we going to be able to find a buy opportunity? The NASDAQ putting in some topping signals just around the pre-market high. So, yeah, let's be patient, wait and see if we can find anything here. Bitcoin not doing too much on today's session. Looks like it wants to continue to be weak. We had yesterday that all-day fader on SMR, right? Like SMR not doing too much either. So, I mean, Intel, we'll get this garbage out of here. One of my least favorite stocks. There goes Micron to the downside. Are we going to continuously sell in the queues? Maybe we'll find out. I think at some point we'll get some form of a pullback. What was I going to pull up? SMR. I don't know. I typed in SPY and see how that's been performing. Additional sell-off day, right? Like, so you had this yesterday. Tina Man misses. Boom. We take that move. Hit the reload right there, and then off to the races it goes, now breaching this previous low of the day. Exactly. Yeah, yes, you should have seen the reload on SMR yesterday. I seen Neil trading this today, but that was a nice one there, Katina Man. We're reloaded on that. Now, 1234, finding somewhat of a bottom. I thought that we'd see a little bit more strength within in New Scale Power. Doesn't seem to be the case. Primary trend, or this trend has been broken, but the deeper you pull back into this zone, the less I like it. So you want this prior resistance to act as support, and then maybe you can continue to climb higher. I always say this, a guy from work. His name is literally a guy from work. I mean, we have to be patient. $10 seemed to be a good buy, but right now it's Bloom Energy, and essentially more Bloom Energy from that aspect as it clipped into an almost new all-time high today at $241 and been on an absolute monster run. Are we chasing this bad boy up here over 100%? Probably not. No. I mean, we'll wait for a pullback. Maybe you get $200. You slowly start to grab a little bit more, and you take it from there. Same with like the AMDs, the NVDA starting to break out, the Marvells, the Broadcom continuing to climb. So a lot moving, the NASDAQ and the SPY. With the lot moving, with that being said, we be patient. Let some people to get trapped, and that give you some good opportunities from a swing standpoint to grab around the lows.
All right, man. Right back into MSOX. It broke 18, so now it has to breach high of day into 22, showing 20. I've got 20s on. Let's see how this cookie crumbles. Also back into MXL, looking for, it did breach 61. It's holding prior bar low, but it's turning into a bit of a resistance level at 61. So maybe we're not catching the cream of the crop here in terms of the best part to trade MXL, because it was rocketing up and now it's a little bit weary here. So we're giving this to about the $0.50. We'll see how this ends up going, but 60.81 is where we're showing now. It's dropping a little bit here, so I might lose the bid on MXL. Continuing to watch MSOX, seller at 20 now. So it's a hidden seller. You can kind of see that because there's barely any size posted on the gateway. In fact, when you look at the amount on the bid, there's not too much either as a backstop. So that should be an interesting look there. Nothing else for me to watch here, man. I'm looking at MX as well, in addition to MXL. Don't want you to confuse those two because they're completely different. One's $5, the other one's $60. So yeah, that's all I'm looking at right now, guys. If there's any interesting small cap gappers, just small cap gappers though, guys, because I don't have the time right now to kind of look at other names, non-small cap gappers. We'll just stick to those. If there are any good ones, let me know. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at right now, Joey.
Okay, good stuff, man. Let's head back towards our watch list. I have a couple of names on my radar. I was looking at the Qs up here around those highs. Can we get a dip buy at the lower end of the range? We have AMD starting to come back in ever so slightly. I think you have to go smaller on this one. A nice inverted up here around this level, and then maybe we can start to find somewhat of a low. If it breaks that high, then you just get out of dodge. So let's rock and roll. Let's get involved in some AMD here. See if we can find a potential move lower. It's strong. I mean, it's a completely against the grain play. But but it's all right. I feel like it's slightly extended. Started relatively light, and that's it. So let's see what we got going on AMD. Did you catch that foo? Boom, boom, boom. AMD. All right, let's go as it continues to climb. We're at the top end of the range. We like that. If it breaks it, we could just hop out a little bit early. 348 looks like it wants to climb a little bit higher, but that's okay. We'll be patient. We'll allow this one to cook up for a little bit. If it wants to go, then so be it. Continuous higher lows. This is the trend. So if we happen to sit on the backside of it, then by all means, we just continue and look for that move back into VWAP, which I think we have that balance, right? Like it's up, it's back into VWAP, it's up. So now let's be patient and wait for that pullback back in. AMD all the way up here. Yeah, it's like a really slow mover. I mean, we're in at 37. You just climb. It's already like 80 cents OTM on that one as it punches through this level right here. You need some. Yeah, you're telling me, Dean Allen. Trust me.
What happened, Joey?
Bro said I need some sun. You're like, yeah, you don't got to tell me twice about that one.
Mind some sun right now.
I'm not buying.
I would not mind.
Oh no, I love the sun, man. Yeah, I tan, but yeah, I love the sun. You catch a tan real quick, man. Off to the races it goes. So much for that short back in on AMD, up 14.4%. So yeah, that's crazy as it climbs. The Nasdaq putting in a new high of the day. Whole market moving right now, guys. Keep an eye on it. With that being said, USO probably moving to the downside. So Nasdaq putting in a new all-time high here today, brother.
There you go, man. We're in Poet here, looking for the move above the $0.25. I'm giving this to prior bar low. Poet's going. It's about to take out the $0.25. So is MSOX. Good look here on both. Let's wet the beak on MSOX in a new high of day at 24 as we wet the beak at 23. Let's see if we can get into the $0.50 here on MSOX. This is a leveraged marijuana ETF. The unleveraged one is MSOS. So be on the lookout there. There goes Poet, Katina, man, into 2R for us. No, that's 1R, excuse me. We just took out 1R. We're looking for 2R just south of the $0.50. That will necessitate a new high of day. We're showing 29s. The high of the day is 36. There's big selling at the $0.25. Watch out here, guys. There could be some resistance at this level. I'm looking for 47s to be my 2R on this one, but we got to get through that high of day, 1536. Watching. We're going to Adara.
Guys, it took a while for the headline to populate on this, but it looks like we have this drop in the USO and the market pushing higher, at least temporarily, as CNN reports that President Trump is now sending Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner to Pakistan for Iran talks. Now, we know we already heard news that the foreign minister of Iran was headed over to Pakistan today, though reports were suggesting that he was really only just going to speak with Pakistani leadership. It was not necessarily going to be a negotiation with the U.S., but either way, it looks like they're sending some envoys and some negotiation team members to Pakistan as we get news that Iran's foreign minister is going to be conveying Iran's considerations to end the war to Pakistan today. So it looks like we've got both Iranian and U.S. negotiators headed over to Pakistan. Let's wait and see what, if anything, comes of this. Back to you.
Stop. Poet is ripping, guys. Oh, sorry, not Poet. Adam, sorry. Shout out to the OG Buvin, always. My man Buvin, other pair of eyes, I call him in the chat. Looking at the scanner. Guys, Poet is really on its horse here into 872. Great breakout there for Poet, man. 872, Adam. Why do I keep calling it Poet? Sorry. ATOM into 861, 872 high. Be on the lookout there. But there goes Poet. Right back into high of days. Can we breach high of day, Joey? We're showing 35s. 36 is coming up. Can we shake the seller there? I'm waiting in the low 40s. We're not going to be able to shake the seller. There's 36 again. So there it is again. We're going to take profits there likely as people do take profits at the high of the day. There's 37. That's a new high of day. Looking for a little bit more. There's 40. Looking for that move. For that move. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take it out here. So let's just go ahead and do that. Cancel the order above. Let me in, please. There we go. Nice. That's generally 2R here on Poet. That's a breach of the high of the day. Good look there. As Poet rockets up. We're out of the money again, man, on MSOX. I'm hating this stock now. I'm not going to trade it anymore because it keeps stopping me out. But there's Poet again into another high day. Here comes the $0.50 On Poet, 1546 is showing up. That's the high. 47s, 48s. Boom. We'll take out one there. We're looking for the $0.50 on Poet. 1505 is what we've got. We're looking for a little bit more, but no more is showing up, Joey. Let's go ahead and post. What happened?
You got to get out of this bad boy.
Go.
Yeah, I mean, the second we get into it, off to the races it goes. Bad idea. You're all out of that one as it breaks through the high of the day. Holy schmoly, that was ugly as AMD continuing to climb. Man, don't stand in front of these freight trains as it's continuing to move here, guys. So yeah, there goes AMD up 15% on today's session. Yeah, dude, Choo-Choo is right, man.
Is back. Though.
Yeah, he's back. He's back in better than ever, as they say, with the tan.
The energy too, my guy, and he's got the tan.
And he's got the tan. So like the whole complete package. No, nonetheless, there it goes. AMD. Thought you would get a little bit of a pullback. It's gonna squeeze through that high and then probably start to cool around a little bit later. So be patient on that one. Get out when you're supposed to and see if you can find any of the opportunities. I seen that Katina man was short Tesla at the volume weighted average price. Nice look there. Bitcoin starting to come in. Volatility, USO starting to tank, but I wouldn't be surprised if it starts to climb a little bit higher. XE IPO. Yeah, we can take a look into that one actually a little bit more. Let's pull it up. XE IPO. No, this is what I want. I got to call these people over there. Like, why is it doing that? It's driving me absolutely bonkers.
It keeps going above?
Yeah, it keeps getting pushed in front. I don't know. Has it ever done that for you?
All the time. Certain window though, not all of them. So what I would say is the window that gives you trouble, switch everything in that window into a new one. So show me the window that's giving you trouble.
It's every single one.
It's every single. No, I only have one of them that gives me trouble.
You see how it does that?
Yeah. I told you to ask chat.
I did. It brought me the thing, and I fixed the setting, and it did absolutely nothing. Yeah. All right, back into this overall market. Let's see if we can find anything on the IPOs. Economic IPOs. Yeah, there's a couple, I think, here today. Friday, April. Oh, there it is. April. Okay, that's not it. It's not showing me anything.
What happened?
Oh man, don't you love it? April 24th. All right, we have a couple. So everyone's saying we have Yesway Inc. on the IPO. Okay, Encore Medical.
What's the name of the IPO again, Joey?
XE. Yeah, XE.
Thank you. On
okay. Oh yeah. Sorry, XE is the only one here. Yeah, XE. X Energy.
I got top 31 on that one, Joey.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
We can find a little bit more detail.
Expected is 23. Okay.
Okay, so there you go. That's why Katina Man's probably sticking around looking to play this
That's what I was saying. Yeah,
he's
what's Katina Man doing here? He's got to do taxes.
Bro, I thought you said you were done. Oh, they got to be done soon. Yeah, I gotta get mine all clicked.
I love tax season. It's such a pleasant
Katina Man, you said TurboTax is free, right? Well, the $9 isn't free, my guy.
Bro, I mean $9 is essentially free.
No, $9 is $9. I'm not saying that
he's got greenbacks there.
All right,
oh man, greenback.
Greenback. How much that one worth there? 100.
Show him the back of that.
Yeah. That's where you were the hedge fund, right?
There you go.
All right. AMD high of the day. Tesla getting that breakdown. Nice work, Katina Man. We haven't hit anything all day. Ooh. Okay, I didn't think I heard anything there. Yeah,
Katina Man is short Tesla.
Get that breakdown, my G. Let's go. IBIT not doing anything either.
We're going to Odera. Breaking news.
Speaking of high of days, GOGL just rocketing higher here, seeing reports the company is planning to invest up to $40 billion in Anthropic. Again, GOGL on watch, planning an up to $40 billion Anthropic investment. Back to you.
Commodity King, PD, into the high of the day. PD, Commodity King, calling that one out. It's up about 9.5%. Pager duty, they still make pagers?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, well, yeah, we would know that they do definitely make pagers if you get my drift there in the Middle East.
Oh, yeah, I get where you're getting.
They definitely still make pagers.
Beep, beep.
Says MF dangerous, yes, of course. Watching, pagers are very reliable, says Ichiro. I used to have a pager in high school, man. And like you would text people, you would hit numbers, and the numbers were denoting different letters. And depending on the numbers you put in, it was like you had to know how to read code, essentially. It was pretty cool. That was before text messaging. Yeah, I know I'm old. Leave me alone. Continuing to watch here, Poet hanging out near highs. I've moved up my stop to a little bit above break even. I'd like to see a $0.5 break on Poet. It's hanging above the 15 EMA, sorry, the 10 EMA, pardon me. But I've really got nothing to do on this one other than wait either to get stopped out or to get through that $0.5. And if it gets through that $0.5, I could be interested in adding, but not at the moment. The other one I wanted to mention, ATOM. ATOM is ripping up, and it is up about 38%. It's trying to hold here that 8 1/3 area. It's got a bit of a consolidation area look, but there's a good amount of volume. It started the day with a good amount of volume as well. Then there was basically a drop-off below VWAP. People stopped caring about it, and for whatever reason, it's back in vogue here as of 11:30 or so. Today, I'm not really sure how to trade ATOM at these levels. 872 high, it's above the $0.5. Let's load up ATOM on the trading screen. Are we gonna take off MX? I'm gonna take off MXL. ATOM, let's see, is this on the NQ? Yes, it is. Here we are, back into 858, 859, showing up current bar low, just for your own reference purposes, 836. So you're at the $0.5 here. This is 836 right here. That's current bar low. I don't know, 143, yes, Anu, you know exactly what I'm talking about there. Yes, she knows exactly what I'm talking about. 143 meant something. Small vol, but similar WLDS as Taylor. Let's look at WLDS, see here. That's a former runner. Yeah, into the high of the day on WLDS, not bad, $1.20 high, showing 119 right now. I could definitely be interested in that, but yeah, Joey, I don't know how, to approach ATOM here. Here comes 60 pennies again on Atom. It's on the NQ. $0.5 generally holding up as support. It's not strict. It's also about a 3 to 4 penny spread at times. Bovin saying 860 could get in on Atom. Yeah, we're right there. We're right there, Bovin. It's 860 as we speak. I'm not interested in giving it to below the $0.5, just below, because I think that that's a recipe to get wicked out. Prior bar low, as I mentioned, is 836. Let me put ATOM over here instead of MXL, ATOM. So we want to give this that much. And then what we want there is 836, so 835. Yeah, okay. I don't know how I feel about this one quite yet, man. And what's it called? Poet is coming back down, so I have to manage this here. Keeps coming back down. Where did I move up my stop to Poet? Let me just have a look. So Poet, our stop is still as before, so that's not gonna work out for me. So we have to move it up. We're gonna move it up to 15, let's go 15.15, and we'll just give it to like 15.10 for that, okay? Not a bad look. Oh, sorry about that. FJ88X, been calling out NVTS to you from 1690 and you haven't seen mess. I'm sorry, brother. There's so much to do.
So much to going on, man.
Yeah, I do apologize. It's tough. It really is tough to trade and to do the show and to, try to follow the news and stuff like that. But let's look at NVTS. I just looked at it up top there. It's not something I'm interested in, to be quite honest with you, because it's trading below VWAP. So I can see why you'd want to get into this for another move back into VWAP. I know that a lot of people trade that way. They find an area low. It's kind of like OB, right? When OB when things get into an area high, OB loves to short them. It's the mean reversion trade. It works in the contra positive as well, especially when it's preceded by your favorite type of candle.
Yeah.
Take a look at that.
Bang.
Take a look at it.
I see.
You see it, eh?
That one.
And then, so I see your point there. What was the name? FJ. I'd be wetting the beak at 1820 to 1810, just in case you do encounter some resistance at the 10, or sorry, at the volume weighted average price. This ticker, by the way, guys, I apologize for not putting it on. It's NVTS. It's not going to work out for me, right? It's negative on the day. 1850 is how it goes green, but I see the validity in the trade. It's not for me. No. Now I'm focusing Joey on Atom, because we're in a bit of a consolidation phase here on Atom. We're putting in the consolidation component of the bull flag. The bull flag started breaking out around 11:15. The $7 breakout with an 872 high. It's losing the $0.5 now, so we'll keep an eye out on this one. If it breaks out, I'm definitely interested in it, but if it doesn't, I'm not going to trade this one.
All right, good. So welcome to...
Welcome.
Yeah.
Try saying that name, Joey.
No, I wasn't going to. Well, I did already. Uston.
I'm willing to bet he's
Kaya.
probably Turkish-ish.
Kaya. Ustum Kaya.
Turkish-ish.
Ustum Kaya. Yeah. I mean,
Because I just know, well,
all
there's
that stuff. Yeah, welcome. Enjoy.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, I mean, there we go. Rock and roll. Streets rolling on today. He's got those trades. Joined earlier. You see Sean and Neil trading throughout the session. A couple good trades on that front. We tried there. Yeah, he is Turkish. Yay. Hey, what's going on? Welcome, by the way. Hey, man, we try and go into the short side here on AMD. Bad idea, so we'll stop the fail on that one. After the races, it continues to go, and it's not getting a breakout, right? Like, so that's why you just, essentially, you get in and you get out at the breach of the previous high, and you're not going to get any form of a pullback. This is insane, right? Joe, look at VWAP projection on LIDR. All right, let's pull that up.
Oh, Adam's taking off.
Or is it?
46.
LIDR. Let's fill it on the NASDAQ ladder. VWAP. What do you say, the rejection? Oh, okay, yeah, on multiple occasions. Good call out there, Luis. I mean, boom, you get that pullback into the volume-weighted average price and then a clean flush establishing a new high of the day. So hopefully you caught that short. It's not Wednesday, so you won't be joining us, but that's unfortunate. But I'm glad that you pointed that out, and hopefully you had the ability to take advantage of that trade there, Luis. Good stuff. Now, Tesla just continuously putting in some buying pressure, right? Like, I'm going to get AMD off my chart because this is going to continuously grind higher. Like, this thing is going to be an all-day grind. And then in the latter half of the session, typically when the reversions are, so we'll note that down and essentially be like, hey, we're not going to be taking any form of a short or aggressive move until after 2 o'clock, okay? So there's Tesla not participating in today's rally, right? Yesterday pretty weak, not doing too much, especially after that massive gap down inside day, we can call it, I guess, but then also not participating on today's rally. So Tesla, once again, being a little bit disappointment from an intraday standpoint, but it is what it is. We remain forward looking. I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is, and Elon said a million robo-taxi. A million Optimus by the end of 2026. Let's go, Elon. We're betting men. You can do it, and I have faith.
Come on, Elon. I want to see.
Man. Do you think he's going to do that? I know Adair does.
A million robo-taxis?
No, a million Optimus by the end of the year.
No. No, I don't. But I don't care. I already, bro, if you understand Elon, if you're investing and you understand how he works, you understand that he is quite ambitious with timelines, but he gets done, okay? He's an achiever. He does stuff that nobody else can do. And quite frankly, you're just going to have to allow him the space to just be himself. Otherwise, just don't hitch your boat to him. All right, I understand, bro. I understand. We're still talking. We're going to Adara.
Get it? Got it.
There is no lesson of the day today, so it'll just be me here with what's happening right now, the latest and greatest in these market moves. And right now, S&P 500 near, basically at intraday highs. This has been a great push up in the 15-minute chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and maybe going on 7 candles to the upside in the 15-minute chart. That's an hour and a half of green, guys. NASDAQ here looking pretty similar. So let's see if this strength continues or if we see a little bit of a pullback in the market. Now, this most recent pop to the upside was happening at the same time we go to pullback in oil. Now that's because we had a couple reports came out basically simultaneously. CNN reporter posting on X that Trump is going to be spending special envoy Steve Witkoff along with Jared Kushner to Pakistan to participate in talks with the foreign minister of Iran. J.D. Vance will not be attending, not because he's no longer part of the negotiations, but because the individual that they view as his Iranian counterpart is not going to be there. So they don't really want to, I guess, bring J.D. there if his counterpart in the negotiations won't be attending. At the same time, we hear that the foreign minister of Iran, who, as mentioned, is also attending Pakistan this weekend, he is reportedly going to be talking about some considerations that they would need to end the conflict. So we'll have to wait and see. The point I'm trying to make here is we got not one, but 2 signs that the conflict could be easing or coming to some kind of resolution at the same time, leading to this big drop in oil and a big pop in the market. Now, speaking of big pops in the market, let's talk GEO-OGL because Google here, reportedly, according to Bloomberg, though I did see also some indications they did announce this properly, they're going to be investing $10 billion in Anthropic, though they could be investing an additional $30 billion should certain performance targets be met by Anthropic. So good look for Claude company there, Anthropic. And last but not least, INTC. Big earnings beat and strong guidance last night for the company. You've got revenue growth in most of their segments other than the other revenue segment. You have growth with double-digit growth in two key areas here, Intel Foundry and data center and AI. We're going to send you back over to Joe and Sharif for more exciting trading.
What about the exciting? You might have something exciting on. I don't have anything exciting.
I just got stopped out of Adam. This is frustrating.
So that's
but it was, I don't, not for me, it's not. You suck, Joe. No, I got stopped out of there. It breached prior low, but it's still putting in the consolidation phase of the bull flag. So I'm not quite ready to do anything with this one yet, but we're getting a couple of super chats here, so let's get right down to them, Joey. David Jiang dropping 5 in the chat. We're thanking David for that. It's diabolical that a CEO said, I don't know what's going on in the production line, Optimus, in the call, no way Tesla can mass produce by 2028. I wouldn't say no way, but I do understand your skepticism, David, and I think that's rightfully, you are justified in being skeptical because, you know, weren't we supposed to get full autonomy like in 2019 or 2018 or whatever year it was, right? We still don't have full autonomy yet, but I get how this guy works, right? And if you've been following him for a while, you kind of get it too. If you don't like him and you don't like how he operates, don't hitch your wagon or your trailer to his wagon or whatever the expression is there. Just stay away from him. Stay away from Tesla, stay away from the SpaceX IPO. Forget about him.
Oh,
For those who
no,
like,
no, I ain't staying away from that IPO.
I'm not staying away from it.
Hell no.
I'm not staying away. But I am concerned a little bit about the debt that SpaceX is taking on through XAI and a lot of that. I think that, you know, there could be some headwinds there a little bit with some of the debt.
I mean, like, do we have to take into consideration it's going to be mainly like government contracts with SpaceX?
What do you mean, dude? He's got crazy launch cadence. A lot of people are putting commercial satellites.
Yeah.
through
Oh,
him.
yeah. Very true. Very true.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got a good commercial exposure there, but it's not the best in the world, don't get me wrong, but guys, MXL is curling. Oh, do you want to cover this super chat as well, Joey?
Yeah, absolutely.
Quickie boy.
We cover any super chat as now AMD is up to 352. Bang, bang. All right. EOSE. Never heard of this one, but hey, you learn something new every day now, don't you? EOSE. Energy Enterprise, $7.77. 777. We like that. Let's make this a little bit bigger here so we can see what we got going on from a daily. Okay. I mean, gap down. You're now entering this gap. That's positive, right? You're off that $4.53 high, 71%. Climbs any higher into $8. You're almost at 100% return. But one thing that we do have to take into factor is that we are substantially off of that high with 62% to the downside. I heard Adair, but I didn't get any. Okay, there we go. Let's send it off to Adair.
It's calling my phone. Nokia is to the upside right now, getting a spike after Citron Research, which is of course led by Andrew Left, announces that Nokia is a $20 stock today, not someday, because of, I guess, their comparison. So saying that I guess this is a strong stock in their opinion fundamentally, and NOK's stock does like this catalyst for now. And I do want to mention another stock as well on watch. This one, not really a market move as far as I can tell, specifically on this story, but I want to keep you guys apprised. Intercept reporting that Palantir is getting a, quote, massive scale data mining contract here with the IRS. So more government contracts with Palantir. When I get more details about said contract, I will keep you posted. But I'm just letting you guys know I actually am working right now on a massive deep dive into all of Palantir's government contracts. So expect that on TTV Research within the next couple of days. Back to you.
Oh, it's four, man. Yeah.
We can't get dinged, Joey. We can only play a couple of seconds there, my guy. I want to get in trouble with YouTube. Yeah. CTNT is ramping up. Okay, I said very little about. Okay, so number one, MXL is changing trend, and CTNT has just recovered VWAP quite aggressively and is on the move. Now, this is a 5 2/3 penny name, mind you, but the chart looks pretty good. Okay. This is not bad. So decided trend break there, but CTNT up 67.67%. I didn't mean that, but that literally was 67.7, 56, sorry, 0.568, so 5 2/3 pennies high, okay? Keep your eye out there. MXL is changing trend, so it's back above the 10 EMA, it's back above 61. Let's see if this one kind of, Mosey's on back to 63.5. So MXL's up 80%. It's $61.50, but it's up 80%. That's a big move. So I want to execute on this one. There's a lot going right now, guys. Everything is in sort of a consolidation phase, but ready to go. I feel Poet is one of those. MSOX, possibly one of those. MXL, ATOM, CTNT. So there's no shortage right now. It's just the structures are holding, but the moves are sort of in pause mode. How do you trade that, right? And that's the tough part there. You're going to have to pack your patience. There goes Atom right back into the area highs. Atom looks like it wants to take off here, guys. Right into 67, 72 pennies is the high. I don't know how to, yeah, I know how to. It's just, it's a bit of a range. I'd have to give it all the way down to 8 1/3. And that's just more than I want to give it. Joey, I'm going to send it to you so I can throw out some orders, brother, if that's all right.
Throw them out, man. Yeah, absolutely. Of course it's all right, man.
There it is, right in the high, man. Right in the high.
Ramble on. There goes Tesla as it's starting to break down. Maybe he did go off to the gym there. I mean, he was on vacation, want to get back in there and back into routine. But there's IBIT inverted right at the volume-weighted average price starting to come back in a little bit. The market's still holding up pretty strong around those highs. Let's head over to the SPY and see what we got crack-a-lacking over there. I mean, a little bit weaker, right? We did have that strong move up. That's on the 1 minute time frame. So if you're looking to get into a little bit more detail, you can see the strength in the volume really start to uptick. 5 minute, pull that up here, and then now you breach the pre-market high. You run into 714. I think that's going to establish a new ATH for you. Yeah, blue sky territory. You have that punch through now starting to come back in a little bit. How far off the lows are we actually on this? So you have that consolidation. Sharif was talking about it on the 4 hour. As we break out, you get 13%. So typically what you're expecting a 10% return, an average return, I guess, annually in the SPY, you get that in the span of a month. Right, so 30th to the 24th, 18 bars, 25 days, 13.7%. So yeah, some good stuff going on, man. The market is back to roaring. I thought we would have more of a breakdown. We were talking about respectively down to 8% and 12%. Did we head into the bear market there? I guess there's not enough bad things going on aside from the war, right? I know what Adam James was talking about the other day. He's like, man, outstanding debt. You have the conflict in the Middle East going on, this and that. But I guess when you're spending billions and billions of dollars, nothing else really matters. So a lot of money funneling around these markets, and it's good. I like, this is what we want to see. The long-term accounts, just the other day, we were all like, oh no, what are we going to do? The sky is falling, the sky is falling. And then sure enough, now you're starting to climb. What I'm waiting for here is Bitcoin to start participating, and you see that big time move. Even though we are 18% off of those lows, I want to see more, right? Like, let's cut that 50% in half. Let's continue to climb. Let's head back into that $100,000 mark. We're only down 26% off of that previous high if we do eventually get there. But we're struggling around that $80,000 level. We can't breach it just yet. 77,000, 78,000. So what we need is maybe a little bit more of a flush, and then we can punch right through and then breach that $80,000 level and head into 85. One step at a time. You got to walk before you can run. Ooh. Even though it's nice to hit the ground running, I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case in Bitcoin just yet.
All right, man. 880 high, 882 high now on Atom. Let's see if this can kind of mosey on up into area highs. You know, you get into that 880, 890 area, you start thinking, you know, $9. And then,
I mean, it was reported like the way I.
Sorry, I was just hearing my ear. 880, you start getting into that level, you start thinking about 8, or you start thinking about 9, and if you breach through 9, then you start thinking about 10. I'm gonna give this a super tight stop, smaller position this time around, guys, on Atom. So because I'm getting in at the highs, I have to get in a smaller position with a view not to adding on the dips. That's not gonna be my move. I need this to go in the direction, but I will add into a winning position at higher levels if it continues to go, okay? So continuing to watch that. There's 82, here's 85, waiting at 88, selling here at almost every level, 86, 87, boom. Let's go, continuing to watch. Let's see, 95 now into the high. Here comes 9, okay? If we break and decidedly break through 9, I'm adding into the position. No buying here, though. At around, just got stopped out of Poet. That's not even break even. We made money on that last remaining amount. It's a trailing stop. In the money on MSOX. Watching here for a possible add on Atom. We're in at 80. Get it to my man Bovin, who wanted me to get in at the $0.50. Should have been listening to you, Bovin. There's a seller here at 96. We can't shake him. Continuing to watch. They're going to kill him here, Joey. They took off. 97s, 99s now, Joey. Continuing to watch. Big move into 9. Nice move here. Continuation, looking to add now. We've taken enough profits here. Looking for the move above 9 and a sustained push above 9 and using general 9 area, not the $9 exact level, but that level as support. Big candle here on Atom. Looking to push through a little bit more. There's 904. Can we add a little bit to this one, Joey?
Yeah.
Let's see. There it goes into another high of the freaking day. Let's watch now a little bit more here on Atom. Looking for that squeeze into 10. This one could see 10 quick as you like. Adding into the position here. Looking for a little bit above the $0.25. There it is, Joe. Right into 26. Added into this winner, like I said. And there it goes again into 30. Looking for the third of $1 to breach. No continuation.
Yeah.
Anything below now 15 ends the trade for me. This needs to go because we've adjusted our position on this one. Looking for the
Yo, do me a...
You killed me, bro.
No, you gotta do me a solid. Pull this thing back. Pull the screen back up. Please.
Hold on, man. You're killing me, bro.
Yeah, okay. Do me a solid. Like,
yeah, man.
All of this is irrelevant. Get over there more so I can see more. Yeah, I want to see more.
Hold on, Joey. It's still going, bro. Can I
get in so I can see?
What do you need? What do you need?
See, all this information is irrelevant. Get in over here. There we go. You see what I'm
that.
getting at? Yeah, man.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
okay, my
exactly.
man.
It's all
Okay.
good. Respect, man.
Joe, bro. All right, man. Shout out to Spiro. Looking for a... Actually, not a bad idea at all. Joey, it's going to fill... What did I say, bro? I didn't even say anything bad.
What did I tell you about how many halts did you sit through yesterday before you got
You're right. You're right. I was
All
wrong
right,
about that. I didn't have the key set up, bro. I mean, I don't usually use these market on open, market
it's
on...
all love. I'm looking out for you.
I appreciate you, man.
All right.
All right, guys. Failing right now, topping tail candle. Let's watch. I don't think this is the end of the trade. Let's look for 9. Again, let's look for 9 as support. If 9 holds up, I think we could see 10 here, guys. So there's a lot of momentum right now in Atom, up about 48%. I got to wet my beak, though, Joey, on MSOX because I've done nothing with that one. Where the hell is it? There it is. Okay. We're holding shares here on MSOX. Let's just wet the beak here as a quick liquidity tester, my man. I'm looking for about a move into the third of $1 here on MSOX. It feels like it's going to disappoint me. We've got 20. It's showing 23s, but I don't know, man. We'll continue to watch. All right, back to Atom because this one is the one that's actually moving. MSOX looks like it's, pausing there and doing its thing. So there's good support here, Joe, at 9, man. This is not a bad look here at 9. We're going to think about this one. In the meantime, we're going to send you to Adara with breaking news.
Keep an eye on crypto, guys. CNN reporting that the Trump administration has frozen $344 million in crypto with regards to potential links to Iran. So again, $344 million in crypto reportedly frozen by the Trump administration due to concerns over Iran ties. Back to you.
Very much for that advice.
I'm watching the tape. Let's go.
Got it, bro.
Let's go.
Here we go. We're holding. So 940 high, Joey. 940. Stop, bro. 940 high on Atom. Guys, we could see 10. There it is. Again, into 38. Seller at 38. Let's see if we can breach prior area high. I expect somewhere there it goes. Looking for resistance now into the $0.50. Let's see. Let's see if we can kind of get up and mosey on up into that $0.50 or what's the situation. Usually you do get into these levels and you are going to see the $0.50, but there's no hard and fast rule about that. Seller in the mid 40s over here. Let's see if we can kind of continue up into that one, Joe. What are you looking at, my man?
Yeah, I'm just watching your time of sales, having fun with that, man. Yeah, 352. Don't short that bad boy like I did, man. It sold off. I mean, it ripped an additional $5 off of that level. So yeah, good stuff. We'll go over a couple more names here, guys. The Nasdaq, AMD continuing to climb. Tesla doesn't know if it's coming or going at this point, but heads in towards the low. Can't break this 5-minute opening drive. So essentially at 372, you're having that level hold, and then it bounces right back off it. But Bitcoin looking like it wants to slide a little bit more here, guys, all right? So we'll head back over to our watch list. We'll get into the middle of the pack and see what some of these other names are up to. We're on the scanner right now. We gotta close that down, but we'll head back into the watch list. We went over some of the airlines. Now, Starbucks performing good for Adara, actually. I believe she has this as one of our picks, up 13% off.
Correct, and it was the one I was the least confident in.
Yeah. But see, the thing is, Adara, last time I checked, you're only a couple percentage points in the red on Boeing, and then therefore all your picks will be green. right? After you have that Boeing start to climb higher. I think that's going to be the narrative. TKO Holdings right back up to 187, bouncing off of that 180 low. Still down here a bit. So maybe we get a discount on the WWE and the UFC. Obviously, UFC signing a major deal with Paramount Plus for the next 5 years. Mixed bag of feelings on that one, right? Not the best necessarily, but apparently, so what the objective is, so what's going on in the UFC is obviously fighter pay has always been at the forefront and like kind of controversial. But I think what Dana was saying, or what Dana was stating, is that the bonuses are now going up. So something that was like a $10,000 bonus or a $50,000 bonus is now a quarter and $100,000. So for all my fight fans, if you get a KO or a fight of the night, it's $100,000 instead of $50,000. So a double there. And then as for your purse, I don't know how much that's changed. There's no more pay-per-views, right? Everything's on Paramount Plus, so you're not getting that pay-per-view money. But I think there's a little bit more going for headline events, like the main event and the co-main event. I think it's like base $1 million or something along those lines. I could be mistaken, but there is some increases there, which I find was a massive issue with the UFC. These guys should, I think they should be fighting. Like, even I understand the roster is big, but I think if you're a UFC fighter, you're in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, you should have a base fight purse of at least 6 figures. Not like some of these guys, surprisingly, Sharif, are getting like $50K a fight. Right? That's show money, right? Like if you win, then you get another $50K. So it's like, come on, Dana, you're worth how much, and you can't even fork these guys up a little bit more. Oh, okay. So what it is in a lot of, I think NBA, it's like 49-51, right? Owners, players, right? NHL 50-50, something along those lines. Relatively same in the NFL. It's like 2.5%, 98% management in
Really?
UFC. Yeah, it's really low. It might not be 2.5%, but it's significantly lower.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
That's actually interesting. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
All right, guys, stopped out of the remaining amount here on Adam. 945 high. Let's see if this can break the $0.50. If it does, we're going to participate into the move into 10. So not going up in a straight line, which is fine, but packing the patience on this one with a bias that if that $0.50 breaches, we're on our way to 10. We've said very little about XE, and XE is an IPO today. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this one. Allow me a minute to load up exactly the information so that we can give you a little bit of a better look at what to expect on XE. I'll have that information for you when we get back from Adair.
Unfortunately, more bad news for ORCL. Now, this came out about 20 minutes ago in tandem with this spike to low of days below that 169 level for Oracle, but I'm just seeing it circulate now. Financial Times reporting that investors are pushing for higher yields on $14 billion of Oracle-backed data center debt tied to a 1 gigawatt project in Michigan for OpenAI. Guess they've got concerns here about construction risk and Oracle's ability to backstop the deal should problems emerge. So some debt concerns here, at least higher yields on this debt is what people are reportedly looking for ORCL. Back to you.
So the name of the company is X Energy, all right? They're gonna basically gains for Aris Management. X Energy set to go public at a valuation above $9 billion after previously scrapping an IPO with renewed investor interest driven by rising electricity demand, of course, from AI. That's reported by the journal's Gregory Zuckerman. Early backers, I should say, the very well-known Ken Griffin and Aris Management are poised for significant gains, reflecting a sharp turnaround towards, okay, that tells me bupkis. I want the price. I want a lot more information than that crap. Let's see if we can get some more here. There we go. Street Insider will have it. Let's take a read here. Close this. How's my MSOS? It's fine. Okay. So here's what we're looking at here. Let's have a read through this. Attracted demand for more than 15 times the available shares following a late increase in the size of the deal, according to Bloomberg. The Amazon-backed nuclear SMR, small modular reactor developers offering drew significant demand from long-only sector-dedicated and existing investors, said the report. X Energy Management was heavily involved in allocating the shares. According to the report, 1/3 of institutional orders received 0 shares. Really? That's how much demand there was? That's crazy. The company priced its 44.3 million share IPO at $23, which was above the marketed range. Okay, so this is interesting. 16 to 19 was the range being floated and they ended up selling it at 23. The tap, 30 frickin' 1, okay? Shares expected to trade on the NASDAQ under symbol XE, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Jefferies, and who the hell is this? Moelis and Co. are among the banks working the offering. Who is this Moelis company? Who are these people? Independent investment bank providing confidential, unconflicted strategic advice. Yeah, thank you for the vague explanation there. Anyway, that's who's involved in this IPO. This is an interesting one, and Neil's sitting down, and he's sitting down for the IPO. That gets me interested immediately in it, okay? Because the big boys, they don't sit down for these IPOs unless they be big. So shout out to my man there, Neil. Lele, shout out to Leanna in the chat. I love your new name, Leanna. Chief. My name's not Chief. And Joey, $2,500 frickin' dollars. Thanks for your teaching. I cashed out INC, Joey, this is probably for you.
Yeah.
INC, $68 calls for $1,200. Took $5K to $9,500, so close to $10,000 in 3 weeks. Thanks to y'all. Much love, Leandra. Or Lele Love, never Leanne. I'm sorry, I didn't know.
I didn't
Dude,
want
her
to interrupt
Instagram
you.
name was Leanne, so you can't fault me for thinking.
It used to be that. Well, I mean, in the chat as well, too. I think she meant INTC. Maybe we just forgot the T, but nice. 68 call for 1,200 smackers. We like that. Took $5K to $9,500. So close to $10K in 3 weeks. That's what we're talking about. You know what I say.
What do you say, Joey?
Don't spend it all in one place. Don't do that. You want to diversify. No, but congratulations. Those wins feel great, man. I know what that feeling is like. It's just like, oh, wow, you have this. But just be careful because, I mean, the inverse can happen, right? Like the opposite can totally happen. So you want to be cautious on that one. FES says Mike Peter Ryder probably shouldn't have said that, but I mean, at the end of the day, that's what you get, Chief. Yeah, he's a chief, man. Maybe that's what she meant. Sharif, MF dangerous, but no, Lele, nice work, man. And you're going into the weekend with that. Feels good. So go enjoy the outdoors or something along those lines. Stay active. Do some analysis essentially on how you got there, and then just be prepared to come and repeat that come Monday morning because there's going to be a lot going on. Now, as for SMR, guys, we'll head back into our watch list. We were talking about some of the some energy names, right? We had NNE not doing too much here today. 5-minute time frame. You can see that we're running into liquidity issues big time. OKLO, what's that been up to? Straight to the downside. You had a couple of sessions where you're continuing to climb, right? So it's like boom off of those 47. What? Okay. Right, 70% on Oklo here off of those lows. But I mean, if we're looking at the bigger picture, you're still down 61%. But what Neil and I discovered is it doesn't matter essentially how far off you are off of the highs. If you're up 20% off of the lows, bull market territory, all right? So keep that in mind, guys. It's crazy to think, and Neil, I think we feel the exact same thing. Like, you can drop 50% and climb 20 and then still be down. So anyways, aside from that, neither here nor there. Moving forward, how has Caterpillar been performing on the daily? Oh, yesterday, an additional all-time high, Sharif. Didn't hear you mention this one.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I mentioned all of them. I mentioned all three that made all-time highs. I looked over to Neil. I'm like, can you watch Caterpillar?
Brother, I'm good at rage baiting. Eh?
Yeah,
right.
Caterpillar's been ripping.
No, it has been. It's been really good, man. We talked about that from an industrial play. It's been really good, but Alibaba not so much. So if you're looking at some of these Chinese ADRs, Figma just getting destroyed out of the IPO. We climbed, right? Like pretty high, up to $144. You're now trading at $16, so that's like 90% plus to the downside here in Figma. I don't know if that will ever recover, but I'm not going to compare it to this. We talk about IPOs. Don't forget that Robinhood was absolutely destroyed not too long after its IPO. Webull in the same boat. I don't know if we can categorize them as the same or fundamentally, but it's the same narrative, right? Like you climb up to $85. Oh, okay. So we're right at the IPO from 2021, 5 years ago. Right, 2021, we're right at that level, but then you lose the majority of your value. You head right back into $8. So you lose 90% and then manage to claw back. It does take multiple years, but can Webull pull the same cat out of the hat, essentially? Let's pull up Webull as it's down pretty, like I think more, it might have been like 95% on Webull off of those IPO highs. $4.44. I mean, how much bad can it get? I'm assuming it can go down to like pennies on the dollar essentially, but if we're looking at some of these names, and then obviously we have the catalyst backing some of these brokerages, the fact that there's no PDT. Lifting that rule takes 45 days for that to come into play, but nonetheless, I think that's good for the Robinhoods, it's good for Webull, and it's good for other names as well. So a lot of brokerages get a surge, essentially, a big wave of retail investors and traders coming into the market when this rule is lifted. Right, so 90% still off of that high. A little bit tougher of a look there on Webull, but hey, could be a good potential buy. DraftKings catching a downgrade this morning. $48, you're now down to $22 here. Let's see, let's actually pull up some of the news on this one. DraftKings and Fluttershy ratings cut by MoffettNathanson. Intel, there's a lot of Intel going here. Cut the neutral wave from Moffett. So yeah, we were talking about this not too long ago. Las Vegas Sands Corp falls 6% off of that earnings. Penn Entertainment stock climbing 16%. So okay, Davey Day Trader, let's pull up Penn. Not a name that we talk about often, but okay, not too bad. Right, so $11.66 roughly, 43% off of those lows, and you have a high of around $17. So Penn Gaming, not too bad of a look. There's another one that's it's not coming to me right now, but I'll remember it momentarily once I stop essentially rambling on. But there's another potential gambling play. I think the Canadian stock. I'll think of it. My buddies used to trade it way back in COVID, which was pretty good. APLD, we've been talking about that one. The trade desk, I think Neil was talking about, hey, could this be the next name to have that big squeeze? It's still down big time. If we head over to the weekly and see what we got going on there, where was our previous high? When was this one? When did this peak essentially? 140, all the way down to $23. You have 83% to the downside. We'll have a look at the short float. We'll figure that out momentarily. CoreWeave, how's it been performing off of its IPO? It hasn't completely broken down. You see somewhat of a pullback here. You're still down about 41% off of that IPO high of $186. I mean, that's weekly. After a couple of months of trading, it continued to climb, but then it gave back the majority of that move. Obviously, we're worried about the cyclical revenue between NVDA, CoreWeave, and a lot of the other hyperscalers. What was it between Anthropic? What was that other one that we were talking about the other day, Sharif? I know you're busy right now, but
fine. I'm listening.
The one you mentioned, was it between Google? Amazon. Anthropic's money back into AWS.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So you just have that kind of just that circular revenue, which some people are worried about, and that's where I think the bubble talk comes from. A lot of it anyways, but I don't think that's necessarily the case because Amazon actually seeing positive cash flow coming in from its spend. So it's spending all of this money and then finally starting to turn a profit, and it's going to be one of the first names. There goes AMD right back up to 352 highs.
All right, there's stuff moving. What I did was I put my, look at this. I put the XE on top because I want to know when it's open, right? Because the big boys might not be around to take it. So usually they're the ones that yell it out. So I have an order on XE. Let's just quickly look. I'm going to get to all the other ones in a second. XE showing 31.50, the top, the theoretical auction price. Let's also take a look at the paired volume. So this is on the NQ. So let's go ahead and have a look at this to see, try to gauge really when to expect this one to open. So let's go by size. XE, it's not showing up, so let's go by paired volume. There it is. Okay, so top 31.25, very small size here, 17,000. Okay, 22,000. The paired volume is already 5.5 million. What does that mean? That means the exchange has paired 5.56. What is that noise?
I don't hear anything. I'm tapped in.
Running on my... Something's running. I'm going to have to figure it out. Something's making a noise in the background. But in any event, XE up 5.569 million shares paired. So while we're waiting for this to open up, there's basically kind of like a halt, right? We trade these small cap gappers. What's happening during the halt? You're getting paired volume. So buy orders and sell orders are being paired together by the exchange. And then there's usually an imbalance one way or another. So if there's more buy orders than sell orders, or more sell orders than buy orders, you're gonna have that reflected on the screen here. So see where it says side, buy. So basically, there's about 28,870 shares that are looking to be, that are shares for buys that are still unpaired. And see how it dropped down to 5, now 10? So the exchange is pairing these buy and sell orders behind the scenes. Now, what happens when more sell orders come in than buy orders at any one point in time? So this right there is a side, it'll flip to S like it is on NVDA here, right? And so that's what we're trying to keep a lookout for, the paired volume, the amount of size as well, and whether it's a buy or it's a sell. So keeping a close eye on the IPO for that reason. Now, the reason I'm bullish on this IPO, a couple of reasons. One, the range that they were speaking about at the institutional level on a per share basis was like $4. It was well oversubscribed. They ended up selling it far above that level. Number two, the TAP, now the theoretical auction price, is substantially above that institutional level price as well. I think it was 23 bucks or something. Let me just double check it here. 31. It's indicating $31 a share, but it was $23. That's how much they bought it at the institutions. But before that, at the which we saw on the Street Insider, the range that they were looking at selling for was 16 to 19. The institutions ended up buying it at 23, and now it's showing a tap of 31 and change. That's why I'm bullish on the name. Okay, nothing is guaranteed. It could absolutely tank. And, you know, that would be completely normal as well. But we are, you know, that's what we do around here. We try to put the odds on our side. I don't know what is happening here. Joey, take over because something is running.
Maybe you have a tab or something.
I didn't open anything.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll
Find out where the hell this is.
Someone said you're hearing stuff.
Oh, it's Sean. I can hear Sean. Oh, it's Katina, man. Can you cut that, Assassino? Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Yeah, because I hear them. They're shooting in the background. For some reason, I hear them, though.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Joey, what would happen
Thank you, Assassino.
Yeah, what would happen to Microsoft? Thank you for that. Jedi, Dominican pesos. Joe, what could happen to Microsoft ahead of earnings? Well, we can figure that out, right? And a lot of that is just going to lead into the expected move, right? So we'll pull that up here for you. MSFT, here it is. With an expected move leading into the earnings report. When is the date? I think this is. When is the date on this? All right, so that is April 28th. Yes, okay, so it should be by then anyways. We'll get the exact date. So you're looking at it. No way. Okay, yeah, 2.8% expected move. 6.2 makes more sense, okay? So 6.2% expected move. I mean, you have an up and down of around $445 or a low of $393, okay? So that can happen. You're gonna see an increase in implied volatility. Now, are you gonna get the move that we've seen in Intel, in Microsoft? I don't know. I don't know if that's necessarily gonna be the case, but just be patient and wait and find out. Now, if you were a straddle individual or you're playing the strangle, I've seen somebody post in the chat like, hey, the strangle on Intel was absolutely insane. Of course, like, nice trade, up 28%, and then after the bell opens, you're still holding on to the majority of those gains. You're gonna see a substantial increase in your call contract on that, and then you'll also see a little bit of an increase on the put side. You may lose some premium, but with that implied volatility increase, you're gaining not only intrinsic, extrinsic value on the call side, but you're gonna gain some volatility value on the put side, even though it's drastically out of the money. So great stuff on the strangle great strangle, great strategy on the Intel move, considering it exceeded that expected move. Okay, so really nice work. See what this bad boy's been up to here on the day. I haven't been paying too much attention to it. I didn't think that we would get this continuation like that, but watch out for this to close around the lows. What happens at that point? An inverted hammer, and I think it's going to give us that vibe of like, hey, we moved up pretty quick. Let's pull back a little bit, some profit taking on this one. I mean, I was scrolling back. We're back into 2001 levels, I'm pretty sure, here on Intel. So 25 years, you're finally back into that neck of the woods.
Good job, Joe. Adam's ripping. Here we go. 8 1/3, 845 is the high. 36 showing up, looking for the move back into 40s. We've got 24s on, seller at 35, local seller at 35, multiple rejections at 35, guys. Continuing to watch. Stop out below 9. So selling here, no continuation. Get it, Bovin. Bovin's in at 860, so Bovin's ripping on this one. Shout out to my man, Bovin. Looking for continuation here at least to test that 945 high. Let's see what we kind of get on that one. Just packing the patience over here. There's the move up back into the 30s. Nothing into the 40s though, sadly. So let's just post a liquidity tester just right around these levels. It will have to be a high of day breach, obviously, to get through that 9.5, but that was a gnarly recovery. But the shorts are going to be looking at this level too. That's a thing, right? Because they know that there was selling there before. So it kind of sets up perfectly for them, right? So it's just going to be whether there's more buyers and sellers at this point, quite frankly. So continuing to watch that. MSOX just popped up into 27s. I had to end that trade because it was just far too, doing nothing. Atom coming back down now. It's losing trend. It's turning into a topping tail candle. No continuation, sadly, through 9. So we may get stopped out here if this one does breach 9 to the downside. Continuing to watch on this one. MX doing all right. It is doing all right. It's like almost right back into the highs I can see there on my side screen. But have to focus here on ATOM as I'm looking for another attempt here at the $0.50. Multiple rejections already at the $0.50 from the earlier candles, 12.10, 12.15, and then that big red candle at 12.20. We couldn't shake any of the sellers in and around that level. So we know that there's going to be resistance around here. Sadly, this ends up putting in a lower high. The current candle, the 12.35 candle, has a high of 9.34, right? The big red candle that sold off all the way into VWAP has a high of 9.36. So now we know for a fact that 35.36 seller has been there for quite some time. So we need to be alert to that level. That 35.36 seller is a bit of a problem here. So continuing to watch there. And then also definitely keeping a close eye here on XE. The tap just lost 31, 30.80 is what the tap is showing now. So we'll have to see how that ends up opening. I've loaded it up on a top screen there on my top, I've loaded a chart on my top screen to kind of get an idea of when this is open. So we'll see how we do there, Joey. Moving back into the 23, 24. Now the sellers are coming down here. So that's how algorithms work, right? When we start stair-stepping down, they start selling at lower and lower levels to keep the price with lower highs, right? And that's what they want. They want the trend to maintain lower highs. So if there was selling at 35, that same seller could set up again at a lower high level. And that's the concern now I have. It looks like we may fail this level, especially if we breach prior bar low, which is right at $9. SST, Bovin says moving up. I can't look at everything, Bovin. And that one's a little bit too light on volume. So I have to keep my eye here on ATOM as well as the XE trade that I'm waiting for there. It could come any minute here, Joey. It's about 20 to 1, so you never really know when this one's going to open up.
All right, man. David Grant fighting this weekend. All right. Good stuff, guys. I was looking at, I wouldn't be surprised if come 3 o'clock, NVIDIA hits that all-time high of $212. We're not too far off it, about $1.40 or so. You're seeing a slight pullback in AMD. Are you going to break down? I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case. As long as we continue to climb, what does that lead me to? We'll head right into the options chain, 210, 53,000 contracts. We're now sitting on top of that level. And you've seen somewhat of a concentration here through that 202.50 all the way up into 210. There's nothing essentially at 212.50. Right? There's nothing really there, so I wouldn't be surprised if we absorb that. We have to go out into a further expiration. There's still no key resistance. And we talk about this all the time, and surprisingly so. It's just so once this lifted, if you monitor this a little bit more closely, you can see that there's typical resistance zones throughout the strike prices of 90,000 contracts open, 100,000. So we can classify those as supply zones, but there was none of that in the past week, right? So off to the races it goes. It was only a matter of time until it started to participate with AMD's rally. That's how I felt personally. And sure enough, we're only $1. Now at this point, we're back up to 210.63. So yeah, we're $1, up to $11 on the session. So be patient, wait for that to hit. I wouldn't be surprised if it's after 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock or so. Now moving forward, let's head back into our scanner. Intel with 185 million shares traded. SOX S, the inverse here, to the downside. I heard Sean talking about SOX L this morning as it was just absolutely going crazy over the past couple of days. You can see it on the daily. Yeah, big time. All the way up to 128, 219% in the span of 25 days, 18 trading sessions. All right, so good stuff. Poet, I know Shreve's been looking at that one here today.
Yeah,
AMD, we know no need for us to continuously milk that stone. Shreve, Tesla continuing to hover around the backside of this trend. Can it hold? I would like to see a bounce at this level. If you don't get it, then watch out for some more downside plays here. Ondas was on the radar as well. That one's looking pretty good. You got something?
No. I thought it was open, but it wasn't.
Sorry, my bad. XE or your halt there?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Just let me know. You can obviously just do your thing once that opens up. How many more minutes you got approximately there, and I can ramble on.
Oh no, it's XE. It's the IPO, brother.
Oh, okay. I thought your Atom. I thought your Atom was halted. Okay.
Open, yeah.
Yeah. SoFi. It's unfortunate with this one as we continuously sell off here on the daily. How have we been performing? A nice bounce off of the lows, $14. You do get 30%, but starting to come back in. We had a high of $32. You're at 16, so you're still down 44% off of the high on SoFi. Qualcomm, never was in love with this name, but it's starting to find some signs of strength. It was on the downgrade list the other day, but you're 22% off of those lows, so not too bad of a look. Bitmine Immersion, how have you been performing? Yeah, all right. On to the next one for poor old BMNR. I shouldn't say that because the yield that they're generating, like they're up there in total holdings for Ethereum. So what they got going on is they're staking this stuff, generating like over $100 million in yield alone. So, I mean, we can't really complain. That treasury play. As for an appreciation within the stock itself, not looking too good, all right? So that's a tough one. BMNR, hopefully it can start to rally. And we were talking about MSTR as well, right? Like MSTR essentially doubling what Bitcoin's return is, but that's how we're looking at it, is that leveraged treasury play, and that's how it's supposed to be approached. So be prepared for substantial downside, but then also you get a little bit more of an aggressive recovery when Bitcoin does start rolling.
Adam has a big seller at 925. They moved down from 35 into 25, and now we're going to fail 9. So bit of a tough one there. Yeah, no continuation. We just opened up a new bar, so prior bar low is going to be 904, and the bar before that is 9. So here comes 9. Yeah, we're going to get stopped out here. That's frustrating. But hey, you know, can't win them all here. Especially that seller, he's stair-stepping down. That's why we have lower highs. So this could be a flat bottom break, right? Because we have 3 candles that are just basically holding up Katina, man, at that $9 area. So ATOM, dilly-dallying here, but trend is not looking good, quite frankly. I got to be honest about that. At least until we take out that 25 penny seller. We're trying to move up a little bit now into the high teens, but it could just be, you know, false hope above that level, because we need to breach prior bar high to regain trend. Prior bar high, as I mentioned, is 24 because there was a seller at 23. Then the bar before that is 34 because there was a seller at 35. And so that's the problem here. Moving back up into 19s, let's see if we can take a quick look at that 25 penny seller again. I feel like, you know, putting my stop below 9 is going to get me in a little bit of trouble there because it could wick right below that and then mosey on back to test that high of the day again. Let's take a quick look at XE. The tap is dropping here. So it's 31.5, the highest that I saw, and now it's 30.11. So a little bit of, a bit of a drop there. Let's take a look at the imbalance locator. We still have a buy side, but barely. I saw 200 something there, now 3,800 buy side. XE's open.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, did you mark? Yeah, there you go.
Wait, bro. Let me just concentrate for a second. There we go. All right. We're in the money on this nice. All right. What do we got? 30.11. Oh. There's a 30 seller. I'm out. No, not going to get that. Oh, right back up. Let me see if we can get right back in. Let's see. On this one, 30.25. Let's see. Kind of get that continuation. Take over for a minute, please.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Let's pull this bad boy up here. I don't even have it on this yet. Okay, there it is. Let's see if this opens.
37 seller, 40 seller, big seller.
Yeah,
on that.
big time
big seller
at
at
40. On here, so.
Killed him. They killed him.
He's gone. There
He's
you
dead.
go. Nice
they killed him,
nice
Joey.
for He's gone. He's destroyed.
They killed him again.
XE is open.
Yeah.
Katina Man's in it there. He's biting the nails. These boys are rocking and rolling. There we go. He's biting the nails, man. Let's rock and roll.
Get it, Katina Man.
Nice. Sharif's getting it right now. So good work there, guys, on XE as it's continuing to climb.
82 seller.
82 seller. Sharif's talking about. Let's pull this bad boy up. over here and see what they got going on. The tape is key. So XE Energy, there it is, up to $30. Opens up at, okay, 30.76. Not bad, not a bad open. Oh, this thing's crazy. 30.02.
Anything below
with the high
30, I'm out.
30.80s. It did have that clean flush down. So XE Energy continuing to climb here. Let's see if it can hold on to this and break through some of these resistance zones that is now established. I mean, we don't have much data to go off here, guys, but XE open and ready to rock and roll. So there it is, bang. Oh, come on. That's not halt. Okay, no, it isn't. It's very, very spready though right now. You can see, but not too bad of a print. It did flush down, like so. Right off of that open at 30.20, drops 20 cents right out of the gate, and then off to the races it goes once again up to 30.80s. So there it is on XE, a good IPO here today so far, guys. Maybe it can continue on the path that it's at, but not too bad of a look. Shreve, are you out or are you back?
I'm out. All right, yeah, we got some top wicks there, but I'm gonna get stopped out of Adam as it's coming right back down into 9. Unless there's a monster 9 buyer here, then we're going to get stopped out of this. Yeah, there we go. It's dropping down into 9. Let's just let that one do its thing. If it ends up popping up, back to XE. There's no continuation on this one. What is the high there? The high, I believe, is around almost 31. There's definitely a 30 buyer. You could very clearly see that. There was a 30 buyer, an aggressive 30 buyer. So maybe we can get another wick down there in or around 30 to see kind of what we may be able to pick up at that whole dollar level. But quite frankly, this is not looking that clean, at least not yet. So continuing to watch this, Joey, dropping down now into about $0.33 here. I think there's better trades out there, quite frankly. MSOX just got into the highs. That's frustrating. Here comes 30. Okay, so let's watch now. Let's see what we can try to pick up at that $30 level. Nothing doing quite yet. There's a buyer here at 24. Big buyer at 24. That failed. Here's 30. Yeah, that's what it feels like. Hidden buyer at 30, though, Katina, man. Hidden buyer at 30. There we go. Popping right back up, but there's no real continuation. Oh, into the $0.33. So you did get that 30 buy again. Unreal. So there, that big buyer there at 30 is backstopping the price action right around the whole dollar. Got stopped out of Adam. It lost trend. Continuing to watch this one. There's 30 again. Is there buying here again? Let's see. Let's see. Continuing to watch. We got 13s on this one. I'm going to flatten out. If we lose 30, we're going to lose 30. Oh, we didn't lose 30. Wow, this is all over the map. Joe, take over for a second.
Absolutely.
Let me trade
I'm just reading a couple of things here. NVIDIA, based on NVIDIA midday trades, jumped 5%. Euro 210.30 there. I'm impressed with the Intel's demand for central processing CPUs, which are critical for companies offering AI services. Yeah, so I'm just going a little bit over the earnings report yesterday from Intel. Let's send things over to Adara right now.
Keep an eye here, guys, on GD and LMT. Both of these companies, General Dynamics and Lockheed Martin, being announced as companies that are going to be getting up to $3.2 billion in Golden Dome contracts. Other companies that are not publicly traded that were named include SpaceX, which of course will IPO later this year, and Anduril. So again, Lockheed Martin, General Dynamics, both getting contracts for the Golden Dome project. Back to you.
Perfect. Love hearing that. Katina Man probably still short Tesla. No reason for him to get out just yet. The support level at 376. So how many dollars? I don't even. Can we even count that? That's $3 with the Stone Cold. 376.50 on TSLA for the short for Katina Man. AMD finally starting to come back in. Has that trend been broken for good now? I don't know about that. Just be cautious because buyers can step in at any given moment. It's going to be a little bit tougher of a trade. We were thinking about it significantly earlier, but around that 1 o'clock hour is when those reversions and when those retracement and pullback plays are really in full effect. So be cautious on that. NVDA still hovering around those highs. Just go to it already. We know you're going to go up to 212, tap into it, and then maybe pull back a little bit. So get it over, rip the Band-Aid off, and then sure enough, we can be rocking and rolling as the highest market capitalization name is market cap, though. Okay, yeah, let's head over there. Let's actually pull this up.
Pull up.
Damn, 5 trillion. 5.1 trillion for NVDA, Sharif. So back in that $5 trillion market cap, we almost have 2 almost on Broadcom. Okay. All right, I see you, Broadcom. Good stuff over there, man. This market is absolutely strong. Almost 3 on Amazon as well, too. 2.8 as the market is continuing to climb. Like, hey, we're over here talking, and I don't even know if Elon can get to these levels. $10 trillion in the next decade in some of these names. I wouldn't put it past it. So that's ambitious. A double. Pardon me?
That's pretty ambitious.
10 trillion on NVDA?
In the decade? No.
It's a double.
Possibly.
It's a double, right?
It's a double,
It's a double, so I mean.
Double meat.
I don't know.
All right, continuing to watch here. We're in exit at 9. We're scalping a lot. Looking for a bigger move here. Anything below 30. There was just such a monster buyer at 30. There it is in the 50, Joey. Looking for a bigger move here. Scalping out little at a time. Let's go. Looking for a bigger move above 50. Monster seller at 50. Can't shake the seller at 50. There's a big seller at 50. My days. There's a lot of churn at that level. There's almost 13 million shares traded so far. Look at that 50 level just get defended to no end. Let's wet the beak there. Let's see if we can ride up a little bit more. Looking for a bigger move still above that 50. There it is, Joey, into 65. We've got 9s. Looking for more. There's 75, Joey, frickin' options.
Nice.
Let's see if we can get a little bit more here, Joey. We're looking for a bigger move into the dollar now on XE. Showing up 75, 80 seller, monster 80 seller. Can't shake the 80 seller, at least not yet, but it keeps popping back up. That means there's a lot of buying coming in. Good move into 81, looking for a price spike up into low 90s. Again, sellers showing up at 80s, but it feels like the longs have the shorts on the rope now. The ropes, sorry, not one rope. Into 81. 81 keeps showing up as a big resistance level. There's a monster seller there at 81. Look at all the churn taking place there. So no continuation, Katina, man. Above that level, that's fine. There's a big buffer between where we are and where the price is, so we can rest a little bit easier now. Looking for a big seller, or sorry, a big buyer to push out that 81 loser. Move. He's not moving, Joey. I'm going to need you to talk to him there. Where's Joey Hands at when you need him, man? Come on. Oh, all the way back down. Here we go now, losing the third. We're going to flatten out here, take out break even on the last remaining amount. That ends up being a positive trade, but there's a lot of shares.
You were turning there, man. You were turning there, my boy.
It is, man. There was a lot of churn there, but I did pick up the bottom, so that does feel
smart.
good.
That's a smarter play.
Well, dude, there was a huge buyer at 30. You can feel that was like an institutional buyer accumulating there at $30 because there was a ton of shares coming in at sell order at 30. But there 30, you go, guys.
Bounce off of it. Yeah. Yeah, Sharif and Sean both. Yeah, they get hype, man.
Yeah, we do, man. Between Sean and I on this channel, there's no tranquile at any time, okay? We got a lot of energy. Shout out to my man. Joey, we're back up into this $2/3 of a dollar,
Why are you
half
back
dollar.
In it, my boy, if that seller's at that 30 mark?
That seller's at the 30.
The buyer's at
the buyer is, yeah. Well, it didn't quite make it all the way down there. But watching here, I want to move above 31. 31 gets me back into the trade, baby. Let's see if we can kind of shake the seller. And we know for a fact there was a seller at 81. So he kills me. I just love it. All right, so there's a seller at 81. I'm not going to get in until we take out the seller at 80. I can't even do this, bro. I'm not going to get back in until we remove the seller at 81. So let's continue to watch. MXL breaking out as well, guys. Good look there on MXL. Watch out that one. Mike PD Ryder. Your boy's making noises while
I'm not even that. It's like when you say something of substance, Sharif and I were always like, we used to do it way back. Yeah, like it's like, oh, whoa, watch out for that guy. Like you just go, ooh.
And then he does it with Neil too, and I'll feel like at the big desk with Brendo, I just start laughing and nobody understands why.
Yeah.
We like no tranquile. Shout out to my man Tom, man. Yeah, look, bro. That 81 loser, says M. Kelsey. Yeah, that's how I feel about the 81 loser as well, man. He's in our way. We need him to
get that guy out of here.
Yeah, get that guy out of here. It's almost 1 o'clock though.
Yeah, man, let's fire it up. It's fired up, man. It's Friday.
Yeah,
let's get this party rolling.
She's getting locked and loaded for the news. We're going to be doing that soon. There's a whole lot to talk about, as you can imagine. There's going to be a lot of microchip semiconductor names in the news today. Well, as there should be. One of them was up like 30% here to start the day, or whatever it was, 26, 27%. First thing I said to Neil this morning. The first thing I said to him, he came in, He was smiling ear to ear, right? I'm like, okay,
why was he smiling? AMD.
Well, usually on a Friday, you're not smiling ear to ear, but Neil was certainly smiling ear to ear today because he has a huge investment in Intel. He's been holding that bad boy for a long time. And I happen to have an idea.
What was the idea?
Of where his cost basis is, because we know Neil's a technical guy and he adds at key levels. So if you look at those key levels, you'll be able to make that educated guess.
Smiling like that.
Oh, there's my man.
Stop.
People up around you, man. Trust me. It will serve you in the future. Continue to watch. Here's 81. There's 31. Oh, it's ripping now, Joey. This is a big move. Watch for the hold of 31. We're going to Adair.
Just beware here, guys. HIMS pulling back a little bit from these highs. Now, JP Morgan giving this stock a positive rating this morning with, I believe, a $35 price target. But either way, keep an eye on this name. Wall Street Journal, I guess, just issuing a report about concerns about peptides coming from doctors. Now, we know HIMS is usually on watch with these peptide catalysts. Again, nothing massive, nothing stock specific, but something to maybe be aware of here for HIMS as it kind of tries to hold on to this high of day. Back to you.
What are your thoughts about this whole peptide thing? I do have mixed feelings. Somebody was asking me about it in the chat yesterday. He's like, are you taking peptides? I'm like, no, not yet. I'm looking into it, right? Okay. I'm still in the research phase, seeing exactly, what to expect and kind of, what the research is showing in terms of side effects. What are your thoughts?
You know what, Truth? I was never really in that world, man. I just put my head down, I hit the gym, I ran, and I just hit the ring. That's it. I don't really have an opinion about it. Like, obviously, people are gonna get it. Like, if you're really into that world, then by all means. But I can't say that I have any big opinion because I've never really been in that realm of like can we classify it as a performance enhancer?
I not really.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, so
but I want to kind of give the idea that you're not looking at like steroid-like gains or growth hormone-like gains. It's not really how it operates, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't substitute your body's own signaling. Like, when you're injecting testosterone, you're supplementing your body's own test with artificial tests, and they can actually pick that up on tests.
Okay, so what is the difference?
Signaling your own body to
make more
of whatever the
peptide is concentrated with.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, man.
I like this. All you need is bread and water. Well, you're not wrong. I do need protein too, but
I don't know about bread. Yeah, but all you need is water at the end of the day. How did we lose it? Steroids, man. I never.
No, man. That's Mickey Mouse stuff, in my opinion.
No, it was how I lost.
Did you see that, Neil?
Steroids.
Are you watching this? It gets into 31. It lost 30. That huge buyer, the institutional buyer, just got decimated.
This hasn't even caught up. Like, this isn't even caught up to that.
I know. This is. Look at this chart.
What do you got there?
I got nothing. I got nothing. That is a big drop there. What a move down by XE.
Ooh,
it's bleeding its own blood. This one could see 29 very shortly here. So you got Neil got slipped at 50, but you do have top wick there. I do see that. Yeah. A bit of a drop there though. That was eek. That's ugly right there. But that is IPO trading, man. You're gonna have to be quick with it. Use the hotkey, set up levels. But continue on. Neil, what you were saying there about peptides. You had
no, I was just saying
natural things going there. Yeah.
Well, I mean that's what I have been, dude. Like I honestly.
So then then
I never.
Why do you look favorably upon creatine then? You know what I mean? Like
I haven't taken it since that last time. But
yeah, about that creatine life.
I was, but in my peak performance, in my prime, I never even took that stuff, dude.
I respect that.
Yeah, I didn't even really know about it, to be honest with you, right?
You know about creatine?
No, not really, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, not really. Like, I was just like, hey, protein, let's take our ISO XP, throw this in a shaker, drink that, and then go run for a little bit, go hit the boxing ring and go lift weights.
Yeah, just regular stuff.
So I worked out with this guy. He was older than me.
Let's hear it.
For some time, and he wasn't really about it. Like, we were just hitting the gym, like going to LA Fitness right in the Junction and stuff like that. But other than that, for the most part, outside from when I was a teenager, in the middle of my 20s, I was just going to my condo gym, working out on my own. So I wasn't really exposed to that stuff.
Yeah, you weren't in the gym culture.
Yeah,
hearing
like
about
aside from being in the boxing ring. I met some guys in LA Fitness, but like they were all doing that stuff. I just never really participated with that stuff.
Yeah, no, I respect that. I completely respect that. I just look a little bit differently upon it because, I think that...
I'm not saying that I have anything against it. I just
have
never was
very
involved
deleterious side effects, right? And we know, well studied, they've been around for decades and decades.
Yeah.
the only kind of thing holding me back from this peptides thing is we don't know what the long-term deleterious side effects would be, right? And that's kind of like, GLP-1s are considered peptides too. You realize this, right?
Yeah. So
they work off certain hormones as well. So.
I don't know. I'm cool with how it is. My buddy always uses the analogy. He's like, he's talking about, why don't you go on Anavar and on Trembolone and all this stuff. He's like,
how about you dig a Mickey Mouse.
Let me finish it. And he's like, why don't you? Well, it's like comparing. It's like, why don't you dig a hole with a spoon and I'll dig a hole with a shovel? I'm like, well. He says that to me all the time. I'm like, well, the reward of me finishing that hole with the spoon is going to be much more satisfying than yours with that shovel that you cheated.
I like the analogy, bro. That was quite good. That was quite good. I do like that. Do you guys have news on on CoreWeave? It's getting dunked. I'm looking. CRWV. Dara is looking as well. I'm seeing the price spike down. I do see what you're saying. So it's getting clipped here. There's mixed option sentiment. This one came in at 1240. I don't really know if it's this. Option sentiment shares down near 110. Options volume roughly in line with the average of 174. So you're not really trading above that. And calls leading puts for a put call ratio of 0.86 compared to a typical level near 0.77. Go ahead, Adara.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any news on this. Decent amount of social media attention, but again, no news, nothing to directly explain why this is down. Probably a lot of the social media attention, people just wondering why it's dropping.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. And this options thing is not really helping either because it's kind of more bullish than bearish there. So, all right, see ya. See what time it is? Start the news, baby.
Time to start the news segment. We're talking about, you guessed it right, Intel. Look at that chart. Intel has reported a sales of $13.6 billion for the March quarter, beating analyst estimates by 11% and rising 7% year over year. Current quarter sales guidance has also been raised to a range between $13.8 billion to $14.8 billion, well above the $13 billion analysts projected estimates, and data center segment revenue has reached $5.1 billion, far exceeding the $4.5 billion as customers are upgrading servers for their AI workloads. Now, CFO David Zinsner has noted that the ratio of CPUs to GPUs needed for AI has shifted from 1 to 8 in the past 1 to 4 today. So Intel has reported a net loss of $3.7 billion, largely due to one-time charges related to its Mobileye stake and the U.S. government derivative payments. Excluding these one-time charges, Intel has earned a $1.5 billion per share, which is, 29 cents per share. CEO Lip-Bu Tan has also stated that the agentic wave of AI is moving intelligence closer to the end user, requiring more Intel CPUs. Now, Intel up a whopping 20.47%. Adara, what's your take on Intel?
I do have a take on Intel. I'm seeing some headlines out of the Middle East right now, so expecting that, according to Iranian officials anyway, being cited in the New York Times, expected that leader of Pakistan will be meeting with Witkoff and Kushner of the U.S. in Pakistan to continue these negotiations. So you've got Iran meeting here in Pakistan for negotiations, the U.S. meeting for negotiations, all in Pakistan, and White House also telling Fox News that Iran has reached out for an in-person meeting. So tons of headlines here in the Middle East. I'll keep you all posted. But I want to talk about Lip-Bu Tan for a minute here, if I may, on the topic of INTC, because I have to say, this man just continues to kill it. Like, August 18th, we get that SoftBank deal. A couple days later, massive investment from the U.S. government. Then you've got NVIDIA literally a month after that. And then, of course, this tie-up with Elon Musk. And some of the comments we got from Lip-Bu on Elon last night were pretty interesting, saying that, quote, I can think of no better partners than Elon Musk. Now, what's interesting, too, is that 14A situation. We know Elon Musk, during the Tesla earnings call the night before, indicated they were going to be using these 14A processes with Intel. But now Lip-Bu Tan saying they have no plans to announce the customer unless the customer wants to announce it. Now, another line that I love here from Lip-Bu that I think is really significant given his partnership with Elon Musk, because their styles are very different, is Lip-Bu Tan saying here, quote, usually my style is under promise, over deliver. Now, we know one person who really loves making promises is, of course, Elon Musk. So I kind of like the idea that they're going to be interesting partners given how different their styles are on this. I'm going to have to wait and see what happens here. But I really love that kind of yin and yang, that contrast that you have with these two guys. And I'm really curious to see what Lip-Bu does next, because he's given Intel investors just so much, especially compared to the abysmal performance of the company and stock under our man Gelsinger. Yeah.
Shout out to Patty G. Look, I'm going to cover two things here. Firstly, with respect to why CPUs are back in vogue, because as Sia was mentioning, AI, the CPUs to GPUs needed for AI shifted from 1 to 8 now in the past to 1 to 4 today, okay? So you're going to need a lot more CPUs, the GPUs. The rise of autonomous agents, according to LibBooz, Intel brought Intel's CPU kind of humbly back into demand. He said that the agentic wave of AI is moving intelligence closer to that user, to the end user, and that requires more CPUs. So I like that shift. I like it because obviously it makes Intel's core product, which are CPUs, in demand. Now, let's look to the future. 14A, that's what Tesla's Terafab is going to be building off. So I just checked with the AI to see what was said yesterday by LibBooz about 14A. And here's what he said. They noted that 14A, the maturity, the yield, and the performance are currently outpacing where the 18A node was at the time. So based upon when they started, 18A and where they started 14A, 14A is ahead of 18A in terms of yield. Why am I looking at yield? Because that was Intel's problem with 18A. That's why AMD said, no, thank you. That's why NVIDIA said, no, thank you. And many other customers also said, no, thank you. And they had no anchor client. And so when they had no anchor client, all of a sudden the money started drying up for the fab being built out in Ohio. Now that's not the case here, or at least it's a little bit different. So that's what kind of keeps me positive. Moreover, the 14A node is the first time Intel is going to be using that high NA EUV. EUV, obviously, the extreme ultraviolet lithography, that's ASML's most cutting edge system. So I do like this. I do like the fact that CPUs are back in vogue, and then their latest and their most advanced product is ahead of where they were with their second latest and second most advanced product. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, a couple of things here with Intel. I think what really was really attractive to this trade, a couple of things. Obviously, the fact that Elon Musk is going to be their first hyperscaler customer, but also the improvement in gross margins. But the foundry business still operating at a loss. Revenue up 20%, but you're still operating at a $2 billion loss. Now, my question is, before we send it over to Adara quickly, is do we see the latter half of this? We've seen on her infographic that Masayoshi Son at SoftBank, $2 billion stake, and then the United States government taking a 10% stake as well, too. Do we see the latter half, like the Jensen investment, and then also the partnership with Elon Musk after that, considering we had the push from Donald Trump and company? I think that's a good question to be asked. Regardless, it's happening. But at the end of the day, I don't know if everything is amplified, and I don't know if we'd have that energized push in Intel if it wasn't for that 10% stake. Let's send it off to Adara.
Yep. Now we have a couple of Fox News interview with White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. This actually might be her last week in the role for now because she will be going on maternity leave. So just keep that in mind here. Apparently they're going to switch up how they're doing these press conferences going forward. But regardless, talking to Fox News, saying that she hopes these talks with Iran will be, quote, productive, and that basically J.D. Vance is going to be standing by along with President Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio to see if they need to send them into Pakistan for negotiations. We know we already have Steve Witkoff, Special Envoy, and Jared Kushner. They're all both going to be heading into Pakistan already. They're going to be leaving tomorrow morning. She's basically saying that Iran asked the U.S. to have talks, so that's why this is occurring. If I get more details, I'll let you know, but it seems like things are moving towards the path of negotiation and hopefully resolution. Back to you.
Let me put this question to you, Sheree.
Yeah, man.
Now, in just regards to LibBooz, he's been doing a fantastic job. Now, is this kind of turbo boosted by the stake with obviously the government, obviously? And would he be doing as good if that didn't happen?
What was the first thing I said to you?
Yeah.
And I said on the show, when the U.S. government took that stake in Intel, President Trump is going to shop around for an anchor client. The first thing you do when you invest in a company is you see, is their upside going to get my ROI? Am I going to get money out of this investment? How are they going to get money out of this investment? They're betting the farm on Foundry. So the only way to actually make sure that the company did good is to get an anchor client for the Foundry. You didn't get that right away. But you felt the political winds and the geopolitical winds specifically were blowing in your favor. Why? Absolutely. You want to reshore chip production. Why? Because most of them are made in Taiwan. And Taiwan is a throw stone away from China and may or may not be independent in a few years. Who knows? Right? So the nearshoring or the home shoring, let's call it that, of chip production made absolute sense right? So to me, it was just a matter of when you got that anchor client, not if.
Now, one more question before we move. We don't want to milk this too much.
Go.
Does Patty perform as good as Lip Boo if this was the exact same scenario that he was fortunate?
I don't know, brother.
Right?
I have no idea.
Right?
Like I like Pat Gelsinger. He's a religious guy. He's a good dude. He puts good Bible quotes on X, and I appreciate him for that. But as a CEO,
so we're just gonna. So I'll put it like this: Lip Boo was at the right place at the right time, essentially.
I don't know about that.
Right?
Well, yeah, you could make that argument because
right?
whether or not Patty G was at the helm or Lip Boo,
right?
President Trump comes in, he takes his 10% stake in Intel.
Bang.
I think that's what you're getting at. Go ahead, Dara.
I want to throw one more thing here, though. The only reason that we had the meeting between Lip Boo and Trump in the first place was because President Trump went on Truth Social and said that Lip Boo should be fired because we know Senator Tom Cotton went off about those comments about Lip Boo's ties to China. So I think we might have gotten a deal had Pat Gelsinger still be in charge, but I don't think it would have progressed as quickly as it did because, like, the time between Trump calling for his firing and the U.S. government investing in Intel, literally a matter of weeks. So I don't think it would be that soon, and I don't think it would be as accelerated as it was, nor do I think the performance would be as great, but that's just my opinion. I do think we have to factor in that whole Truth Social engagement because I do think that kickstarted their relationship.
And that was going to be my next
I just
question.
think, President Trump, his negotiation tool is to tell you, he'll fire you so that you can do what he wants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
So I think that the deal would have been struck either way, whether Patty G would have been as easy to deal with in giving up a 10% stake into the company as Lip Boo was. Maybe not.
But from a
Maybe
performance standpoint, wouldn't it, like, it would have been smart for him to do that?
Patty G?
Patty G, right? Like, why would you not do
I get that. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you want to stand up to President Trump, then you're going to make yourself a target. It's really that simple.
Exactly.
What do we got?
Well, look what Costco did, right?
We're talking about a very, very important story here. The FDA is fast-tracking psychedelic drugs research following the U.S. President Donald Trump's executive order. So FDA has announced a series of measures aimed at accelerating and development of psychedelic treatments for serious mental illnesses. This also marks a significant shift towards supporting psychedelic-based medicines for conditions such as treatment-resistant depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, that is PTSD, and other substance use disorders. These are comments coming in from the FDA. But what I really, really like over here is that as a part of the announcement, you can see here in the article, the FDA has said that it would issue national priority vouchers to companies studying psilocybin for depression and methadone for PTSD.
All right, so as much as I am bullish on this because I am invested in it myself, as much as I have to be honest about how this kind of has happened in the past, there is a long history of recreational drugs failing short on promised medical breakthroughs. A decade ago, cannabis was studied for, chemotherapy patients to ease nausea. A bunch of money was dropped in to kind of pursue that objective, and the money poured into the stocks, and basically nothing came out of it. I'm not talking about weed stocks, I'm talking about this specific thing. As much as I do want this to do well, especially because this is targeting people who specifically other regular prescription drugs has failed. So, I don't want to say a last resort approach, but look, I'm willing to follow this through. I'm willing to see where it goes. As long as the science shows that there is progress, I'll stay invested. As long as the technicals on DFTX show well, I'll stay invested.
Yeah.
I don't know enough on a molecular science level to give you any sort of kind of educated.
Yeah, I mean, the way we
there.
could look at it is as an alternative to your basic, some of your pain medications that they offer and stuff like that. So maybe more organic one. Again, I don't know enough about the space. Is it going to be anything in the realm of what we've seen in the cannabis and the marijuana space here? No, I don't think we're going to get that massive kind of recreational aspect things in the psychedelics. But PTSD, a lot of veterans using it. Scientifically, I think more data needs to be collected in order for us to really get a grasp on this.
Can I say something to you?
Yeah.
Like in DFTX, I don't even want them going down the recreational route. You want to know why?
Why?
Look at cannabis. Look at all the recreational cannabis prices. They're falling off a cliff. The margins are in medical cannabis right now. That's where you can actually bill insurance companies who cover it. You can charge, different prescription fees and stuff like that to get it. So I personally, from an investment, I want a higher margin business. I'd rather not take on the volume and compress the margins down than have everybody else competing with me. That's just my personal take because of how cannabis the cannabis industry split between the medical and the recreational.
Yeah, but see, like, again, not to get too literal with this stuff, I don't know what the difference between recreational cannabis and medical cannabis is, to be honest with you.
There's probably not much. Probably maybe some.
You have different concentrations, Sharif, but other than that, right? Like, you know what I mean? It's like one's a little bit more CBD weight.
Even if there isn't a price difference, the fact that you're getting it covered, you're having it dispensed as a prescription, makes it coverable by insurance. You can claim it as a tax offset at the end of the year, whereas recreational cannabis, you can't, obviously.
You can't,
so to me, you can charge more.
The difference is the prescription.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
like it's literally like, okay, you go to the doctor, say you need it, and the other ones you just go to.
Okay, you want to hear something funny? All right. Yeah. So sometimes doctors write OTC herbal things on the prescription itself, and we deal with this all the time. And then sometimes they're not covered by the insurance.
Yeah.
But if we were to bill it as a prescription, we would charge you $11.99 for a dispensing fee. We could mark up 15% on the product, where we wouldn't be able to do that on the OTC. So sometimes insurance companies cover OTC items, and so we'll bill it that way, and we clean up versus what we would have done OTC over the counter. So there is that aspect.
My old insurance company gave you $2,500 annually.
There you go, bro. There you go. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
You just go, like, you go to their provider, obviously, how it typically is, but $2,500 annually they would give you.
All right, just going to cover this one super quick before we go back to Sia. Thank you very much, son of Daniel, for the $5 super chat. Before I got into the stolen cheese business, back when weed was rumored to cure glaucoma, I made a mint of selling stolen glaucoma sunglasses. Why are you like this, son of Daniel? Why are you like this? But you're hilarious. Keep doing what you're doing, man. We love you. You're funny. You have a hilarious sense of humor.
Yeah, I like his sense of humor.
Let's go back to Sia.
Let's talk about TSM. TSM shares have surged to record highs following a decision by Taiwan's Financial Supervisory Commission to loosen fund allocation limits. The cap on single stock holdings for domestic equity funds and active ETFs was raised from 10% to 25%. JP Morgan has estimated that this policy change could attract more than $6 billion in fresh inflows into the stock and lift the TAIEX index. Now, Taiwan Semiconductor is currently trading at new 52-week highs, sitting 11% above its 20-day SMA and 17.8% above its 100-day SMA. Technical indicators like the MACD are in a bullish posture. Next major catalyst for the stock is also estimated to be on the 16th of July of this year, where the earnings report, analysts are expecting an EPS of $3.67. Revenue for that quarter is estimated to come at $39.61 billion, which is a massive jump from the $30.07 billion reported in the prior year quarter. The stock carries a P/E ratio of 32.8, indicating a premium valuation. And recent analyst actions are also coming from Barclays and Needham, suggesting raising their price targets to $470 and $480 respectively, keeping the buy ratings currently TSM up in the green by almost 6%.
Yeah, this is actually really interesting. I'm going to make a comparison here, but just okay. So just before we can continue, we're going to go to Adair with news.
I have a couple different headlines, all of which are coming from comments from the White House, and I believe specifically White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. At least I know she made some of these comments here, saying that they've seen progress from the Iranian side in recent days, and that Iranians want to talk in person. Now, she also talked about the Fed Chair Powell investigation. She said the case is, quote, not necessarily dropped, and that it will continue. So we know that this is a pretty big issue, because the whole thing we had a lot of senators saying is we're not going to be able to progress and proceed here with the Kevin Warsh nomination and, allowing him to be Fed Chair. They're not going to vote for him unless that Powell investigation is dropped. Now, we heard earlier that it was dropped from U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro herself. But now that we've got the White House coming out and saying, specifically White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt saying the case isn't dropped, that could throw a bit of a wrench into things. If I get more details, I'll let you know. But these comments certainly of interest. Back to you.
Much for that, Adair. All right, so here's what we're talking about. Basically, if you were an equity fund or you were an ETF and your home base was Taiwan, you couldn't own more than 10% of one stock in your portfolio. That's moved up to 25. So to me, this is almost like an addition or deletion to an what's it called? To an ETF, or sorry, to an exchange. Mm-hmm. So here's what I mean. Like sometimes we see a company getting added to the NASDAQ 100. So that's an addition. Why is that good? Why is that accretive? Because a lot of funds that track the NASDAQ are going to start adding your stock to their ETF. That creates net buying as opposed to net selling. It's not the exact same thing. Obviously, I do realize that. But this, to me, means that funds can increase their exposure from 10 to 25%, so an increase of 15%, and they're likely going to be adding this. Now, how big are these Taiwanese ETFs or these Taiwanese equity funds that they may actually affect the price of TSM? That's kind of where I don't know, but I do like this because that just means more people are going to increase their exposure. I'm assuming to Taiwan Semi. It's one of the best companies in the world, and it's above $403. It's up 5.5% today. And you want to know what the market cap is?
Yeah.
1.8 billion. This thing just cleaned 1.8 trillion.
Yeah.
This thing just cleaned $1 trillion. I think like what, 4, 5, 6 months ago, something like that. Now it's on the way to 2.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I mean,
to me, this is good news.
Okay, don't look. Out of the total value of the Taiwanese market, how much from a percentage standpoint is weighted in TSM?
From the Taiwanese market?
From the whole thing, the whole market.
I want to say 35 to 45%.
Oh, 40% exactly.
Pretty close, huh?
Yeah, very close. You were right in, you're smack dab in the middle there, 35, 40. So yeah, good, exactly. So this thing is the value of 40% of the market. Like, talk about, I think, was it Novo Nordisk, something along those lines with that specific country, obviously, as well, too heavily weighted, 20% or something along those lines in one name. And we're sitting over here, or the Americans are sitting over here complaining like, hey, it's too heavily weighted. Like, you have 8% in NVDA and so on and so forth. But 40%, almost half of the value of the market is in one name. So if you talk about something breaking down, this is the last case scenario that you would ever want to see. Like, it would absolutely destroy the value of that stock market if you see TSM shoot down 50%. I'm not going to say that's necessarily going to be the case, but we talk about concentration within one name. It's there, 40%, but it is one of the names that the only name that meets the requirements in order to go through.
It's one of the best companies in the entire world.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying. It makes sense to me that why they pile in so hard. You know.
Exactly, but it's the only name that meets those requirements. So, in order.
Amazing. That's actually great information, brother. I didn't even know that. See ya.
Important story here today. The DOJ has dropped investigation on Fed Chair Jerome Powell. This removes a key obstacle for the confirmation of Kevin Warsh, who was U.S. President Donald Trump's nominee to replace Powell, via a post on X today. U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., Jeanine Pirro, has commented and announced today that her office is closing the investigation that had been launched in January of this year. The Fed's Inspector General has also agreed to examine the significant cost overruns at the central bank's ongoing multi-billion-dollar renovation project at its Washington, D.C. headquarters. After the Inspection General completes that report, Pirro has said that in case and if there is any criminal probe still required or needed, she will restart investigation. But I do want to hear from Adara. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I have some thoughts on this. I want to let you guys know, too, BAC trading near intraday lows just got a catalyst here. Apparently, some actors are claiming to have breached Bank of America's records, apparently millions of records with highly sensitive financial and personal information. So keep an eye on BAC, reportedly breached. Worth noting as well, we've had confirmation that Iran Parliamentary Speaker Galibaf, who's the leader of the Iran delegation for negotiations, it's yet to determine if he's going to arrive in Pakistan. He's not going to be there for tomorrow's talks, nor will Vice President Vance. So again, higher level negotiators have yet to arrive or have their date confirmed for Pakistan. But let's talk about the Fed. So a couple things here. I have a theory, especially kind of confirmed by those comments we got from White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt a couple minutes ago. I don't think that they're going to drop this for very long. And you could even argue that if they've even dropped it at all. And I say that because I have a theory that the second we get that Fed Chair Warsh confirmation and Fed Chair Powell is out, I think they're going to reopen this all over again. I think that they've realized that if they want to get Warsh confirmed, which they do, because if not, Powell, from a statutory perspective, could stay as Fed Chair until that confirmation happens. They've realized the best way to get that confirmation through and get Powell out the door as Fed Chair, at least, even if he still stays as Fed Governor, they're going to have to drop the investigation. I do think they'll probably pick up the investigation on May 16th, the day after Powell's term ends and Warsh's term begins. There's also the ongoing issue of Lisa Cook, Fed Governor Lisa Cook, who was fired by President Trump in August of 2025 over a Truth Social post, and the whole issue of whether or not A, this firing was lawful, and B, if she can stay in the Fed board until the issue with the alleged mortgage fraud is resolved. So I think there's still a lot of questions in the Fed. If anything, I think this baby brings up more questions than it does provide answers to you. That's great. Sending it to the guys.
All right, so the way I look at this is, I personally wouldn't be going after somebody just as a personal decision for excessive spending, but this project was supposed to be $600 million. Now, to be fair, that estimate was given before COVID and before the huge inflation that we saw subsequent. So 600 million to 2.5 billion, that's the first thing. And this is not criminal, but it's a little tone deaf as well. When there's there's a cost of living crisis. Why are they spending so much on a building? Thirdly, anybody look at the JP Morgan in Midtown Manhattan? It didn't cost as much as the Fed building. I don't understand what's happening there. But it's not something that I would be filing criminal charges against. But this is President Trump's moat, right? He threatens, Lip Bhutan to get 10% stake. Then all of a sudden they're buddies. This is what he does. He throws the gauntlet at you so that he can gain a better negotiating position, and and then see what the result comes from that. So I don't like the fact that it costs so much money, but I don't think it's a reason to criminally charge somebody.
Yeah, they did the same thing with Lisa Cook, essentially, right? Just throw that investigation into her. All her files get pulled. Yep. As per Jerome Powell, it costs a lot of money. Shreve made some good points. It's like you have to take into consideration. And I think the big issue is just everything along the lines of his rate hike, quantitative tightening, and then falling into easing. So, I don't know, man. I think Jerome Powell, we can call him too late. He was too late to the ball on a couple of occasions, but other than that, I think
that's a fact.
I think he's been, he allowed,
cut.
Yeah, to increase, he was way too
late, man.
So what did it hit around 11% or something along those lines? So he was extremely late. I don't know, data dependent, but that's the thing. That's what he said throughout.
He did
this
have
whole
the data,
thing.
but he said it was transitory.
I think the big issue was that he was data dependent and wasn't proactive in the kind of game and being strategic, right? Like, hey, are we going to anticipate an increase in this print, in that one, and then cut rates prehand or increase rates in that case in earlier 2022 or whatever it may have been. I think that was the bigger issue, but nonetheless, it's been somewhat stable as of late, right? Yeah. I don't know. See, and we were talking about does the Fed need to increase their target of 2% just due to the fact of the amount of money that was printed before?
Canada, right? So they have like a 2 to 3% inflation print. The Fed doesn't, the American Fed, not the Bank of Canada. They just want 2.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Do you have to be more flexible due to the fact that of how much money you printed during COVID?
This Warsh man, he's coming in with an agenda of what he's calling regime change. And there's a lot that falls under that regime change umbrella. Perhaps this is one of them. We'll find out when we get there. But I want to read Tom Train's comment there. I think it's fair. Original estimates of 1.9 billion grew by over 30% due to factors like unexpectedly more asbestos, toxic soil contamination, and difficult foundation work near former wetlands. I think that's fair. Anybody going into a construction project knows that sometimes unexpected expenses happen. It's just, to me, if you're saying the original estimate was 1.9, what I found here was 600. Maybe we're looking at 2 different sources or from 2 different times. But I see your point. I think that's a fair point. Unexpected costs during renovation would not surprise you. It would not surprise me.
But that's why
either,
I don't understand. I get things. It's the same thing what Elon Musk is doing. Why don't you quote higher than what you're actually looking to get in? Because then if you come in under, then you look so much better, right? I understand it's substantially higher, but if you quote something that's higher and then you come in lower, then you look smarter than what you're doing. Instead of we're going to think this costs X amount of dollars, and then you end up spending double, you look like a complete idiot at the end of the day.
I disagree. Yeah.
We had a couple headlines from Microsoft yesterday and have one more for you today. Microsoft reorganization and the AI-centric workforce. So Microsoft is offering a voluntary buyouts to long-tenured employees. This is a first for the company since it's reorganizing around AI. The voluntary retirement program is part of a broader shift to alter performance system and how the stock and bonuses are rewarded in the company. The criteria also for an employee to be eligible for this is that they must be at a senior director director level or just below, with years of employment and age adding up to at least 70. CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, is pushing to simplify operations to move faster in the intensifying AI software race. The company has, as we know it, laid off more than 15,000 employees as of last year across sales, Xbox, and other non-core departments, and Microsoft is set to report its next quarterly earnings this coming Wednesday. The company is also facing pressure to prove that its massive investments in OpenAI are generating tangible real-world business value. Currently, Microsoft in the green, up 0.676%. Just want to send it to Adair real quick.
Yeah, we've got more stories here out of the Middle East. We have Iran, so Iranian news here, specifically Tasnim News, reporting that Iranian officials are not holding any negotiations with the U.S. in Islamabad. So the way they're, I guess, pausing this is going to happen is we're going to have U.S. officials and Iranian officials both meeting in Pakistan at the same time, but not talking to one another. So unclear how all this is going to go, but interesting stuff here. Again, Iranian news sources reporting that even though the U.S. and Iran are going to be in Pakistan at the same time, they are not holding any negotiations directly with one another. Back to you.
So what I noticed immediately here goes as follows. Program targets workers whose age plus years of service equals 70 plus. Structured retirement style cost reduction. I don't know, maybe I'm a little cynical, but I think they're trying to get rid of the people who won't be able to adapt to AI and use AI in the workflow, in their everyday to-day life. I think that's just, quite frankly, the way that I see this. So it's like, okay, well, if you're above a certain age, on average, you may not be as employable anymore because you're not able to use tools A, B, and C. Let's offer you a package and let's move you on. It sounds, it's mean, right? But that's what reality is. 228,000 employees as of June of last year. 125,000 were in the U.S. So a very global company. Almost half their workforce is outside. And they need, I think they need the money, obviously, to redeploy into data centers. And I'm assuming that probably has a lot to do with it, the cost cuts there and the reallocation of capital.
Yeah, I mean, last year laying off more than 15,000 employees, multiple cuts there. We were talking about it's just more or less the tenured individuals, all right? The stock has been down substantially as well, too. I don't know if that plays much of a factor. 51-year-old company. I think that's the narrative of what's going on right now, Sharif, is just like, hey, you've been with us for quite some time. Thank you for your service. Take the package now before we actually just lay you off and you don't get it.
And you want to just, let's just get right down to if that is the case, if they are letting people go because they don't think that they can adapt, it's blatant ageism, right? I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know what the laws are in the States, but there's a duty to accommodate in Canada. I don't know if they have the same duty to accommodate in the United States, but it's not nice.
It's not nice. It's not nice. Think about it, especially if you've had that stability and that comfort for however long, right? So you said you had to combine your age plus your years of service have to equal 75. So that means you've been, or is that what you said? 75,
yeah,
70,
right?
70,
same difference.
Right? So that means you've been there for a while. You've been there for a while. So that's your source of income. It's tough. But unfortunately, Sharif, the world is cruel and life isn't. The world is cruel and life isn't fair. And so you've been employed, you've been working there for a long time. You're gonna have a big life structural life change. But it's not fair. Life's not fair.
Joey, I just want to read this super chat from Minnesota Trader. Thank you very much, Minnesota Trader, for the $5 super chat. Just want to make clear, Fed building is $32,000 per square foot. The most expensive property in New York ever recorded is $10,000 per square foot. We are being robbed blind, says Minnesota Trader. I don't know if the facts you're stated are correct. I haven't had an opportunity to look at them, but thank you for your opinion. If they are correct, then that's a real eye-opener. I'm assuming that's kind of why we're having this whole thing happen here. So we'll have to wait and see how it all goes.
I'm going to give a quick example. I'm going to give a quick example of that. So I remember years and years ago, I read an article, a place called Hyde Park here in the city. Nice little area. You have cherry blossoms, and it's a nice place where you can go and hike and walk around. And there's a couple of trails. Anyways, there's these steps that needed to be repaired. The city quoted about $250,000 to fix these wooden steps. Okay. Buddy lives across the street, has a little bit of cash. He's like, you know what? Why is this being quoted at $250,000? Goes and fixes it himself. He said it cost me a total of $50,000.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. So there it is.
Government is so efficient.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, see ya.
Talking about Alibaba, now this is a bit of a detailed story, so please bear with me. Baba's Qwen AI integration in vehicles. Let's take a look into this. Alibaba has announced its Qwen AI model will be integrated into vehicles from BYD and a local Volkswagen joint venture. The system combines on-device processing with cloud-based computing, the purpose of which is to interpret voice commands and plan multi-step tasks. Other major automakers integrating Qwen include Geely, Li Auto, Changan, Dongfeng, BAIC, and Great Wall Motor. Select certain models will allow drivers to order food delivery, book hotels, and track packages through just simple voice commands. This is really big. This rollout is coming because Chinese automakers are seeking to make a difference through software in the slowing domestic EV market, and Qwen AI model will run on NVIDIA's automotive chip system designed to function even with limited network connectivity. Again, a big thing. Earlier this year, FAW Group's Hongqi brand had debuted Qwen integration in its HA6 plug-in hybrid model. Audi, as well, in China, is replacing its four-ring logo with a wood mark for an electric SUV called the E7X. Now, let me give you a dive into Audi. It's not replacing the four-ring logo on all Audi models globally, and instead it has created the China-only electric sub-brand called AUDI in all caps. So that does not use the classic four-ring emblem at all, including on the Audi E7X electric SUV. Cadillac as well has shown a new model at the Beijing Auto Show with voice assistant capabilities powered by ByteDance's Daobao AI. So Baba's position right now in the market up in the green 3%. Thanks for bearing with me.
Thank you for that. So there's a car show happening right now in China. I think it's Auto China 2026 at the Beijing International Automotive Exhibition, kind of like the car show that we have here in February. What I do like about this, I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but this is combining on-device processing with cloud-based computing. So I like that because we've seen kind of companies take one or the other approach. We see Apple doubling down on on-device inference, and then we've seen all the others kind of really rely on the hyperscalers for their cloud and all the neo-cloud AI services that they're offering on their cloud service. So I do like this. I do like the interoperability of the software as well, the way that they will be able to kind of mass produce it for all their different companies, the Chinese EV companies. We have Li Auto in there, Geely, Changan, Dongfeng, BAIC, Great Wall Motor, everybody's included in that. There's obviously a lot missing, XPEV. What's that one called? I forget the name of it. It owns Geely, guys. What's the name of the company that owns Geely? I just have to find out.
Type it in.
What's the name of the company that owns Geely? Hurry up. I think it's like Mary something? No, not Volvo. I know you're thinking. It's called, no,
Zeekr.
That's not the one. Zeekr is owned by Geely as well. No, that's not the one I'm looking for there. But
it's not Xiaomi, is it?
It's not Xiaomi, no. I forget the name of it. Anyway, we'll get back to it, but we have to go to see it because she's got news for a second.
All right.
Yeah, just keep an eye out on the stock here, SEGG Media. It's entered a sports prediction market via sports.com. Stock is reacting pretty well to it, currently up. It's down 1%, but I can see an uptick in that. Just take a look.
Thank you very much. Cherry, that's the one I'm thinking about there. So that's the name of the company. We're likely going to see those cars in Canada. So my takeaway from this is it's scalable, where you can kind of sell it to other cars, and
software.
It kind of gets you in the door with these car companies in the way that maybe Android Auto and Apple CarPlay kind of have, where they're native systems almost.
I like that, and getting involved in the transportation. I was just reading a little bit on the fact that they're partnering up with China Eastern Airlines as well too, are going to implement that and integrate that into the app where you can get the full booking, you can do seat selection, change your flight if you have to. So, and they also have the video generation, right?
Yes,
the video generation is something that we don't really talk about too much in regards to the LLMs and some of these AI tools that we have here, but they're willing to spend. Why? Because it costs a lot of tokens to generate these, and they don't care about building the build out there, right? It's just approve everything. You were talking about the other day how 60% of these data centers are getting denied. they're getting a lot of check marks over there in China.
And I was just reading, because look at this. So it says it's going to basically run on NVIDIA's automotive chips.
There you go.
So I want to know which NVIDIA chips we're talking about here, right? So it looks like it's going to be the
ones that SMCI sold to.
Those are for data centers, but yeah, that is nice. NVIDIA Drive AGX, as well as NVIDIA Drive 4. That's the next gen of this AGX Orin. So those are the chips they're going to be using if you're looking at doing your research on that. It is an NVIDIA chip. It's not one of the ones that's restricted like the H20 and the H200. It's not a China-specific chip either, but one of the ones that they don't have problem selling there. So Volvo and MG also owned by Geely. Yes, I know it's like a conglomerate that Chery owns, but yes, you're right. Thank you for answering back there. Chery Automobile does not own Geely. They are separate independent companies that are actually direct competitors. I'm pretty sure, well, actually, I think it said Zhejiang Geely Holding Company. Yeah, you're right. That's what Zhejiang Geely Holding Company. That's what the LLM is saying. But I thought it was Chery that owned Zeekr and owned Geely. Maybe I'm wrong on that. We'll have to double check it. But thank you for pointing that out, Tom. Any more comments, or should we go back to?
Yeah, send it back.
We're talking about Procter and Gamble. PG has warned of a $150 million hit to its annual profit due to higher input costs related to the conflict in the Middle East. The company is expecting a fiscal 2026 earnings to be at the lower end of its target range. Higher costs are driven by oil price surges, impacting plastics, paper, and transport. Consumer giants like Nestle, too, have similarly been warned of higher costs due to the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Management is expecting a more of a substantial impact starting in Q1 fiscal 2027 if current conflicts persist. PG's quarterly sales have risen 7% to $21.24 billion, topping LSEG estimates of $20.5 billion. Excluding items, earnings per share of $1.59 have beat analyst estimates of $1.56. Organic volume risen 2%, is led by 5% growth in the beauty segment and a strong demand for premium hair care. PG is maintaining its expectations of a $400 million hit from tariffs imposed under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. Currently, PG up in the green, almost 3%.
Off right away. Tariff hit $150 million. They have to cut their 2026 fiscal EPS to the lower end of the range. That's one. But organic sales as well, they're struggling. Expected at just 2%. They had guided prior 3 to 5, so a major miss there. And what they're saying, the consumer is increasingly trading down, and PG is kind of leaning on pricing, but there's obviously elasticity risk rising. And the key implications to me are that the consumer is getting squeezed and they're trading down into maybe perhaps house brands, kind of stepping down a little bit and looking at saving a buck or two. So these margins are already not great on products like this. Usually like they're 20, 30%, and this is probably just going to get squeezed a little bit more. I mean, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, I mean, organic sales increased 7% year over year, but the rest of it, I mean, seems pretty modest. For a 2.8% gain, volume was up 2% during the quarter. I mean, the margins you're talking about, extremely compressed. They did come out on a double beat, though, Sharif, which I think the street is is essentially what they liked. But as for PG, I think it's the third largest in the XLP in the Staples holdings. So, I mean, it's not too bad of a look. We'll take a look at some of the technicals. We haven't done that with any of the names here today. Walmart is definitely a lot closer. You're down 11% off of the highs in Procter and Gamble, but a double beat here. Guidance, probably the issue for why we're starting to get back a little bit of the move here today.
Yeah, so I just wanted to clarify the companies that are owned by Chery. I'm just going to give you them here in a second, because I remember a Jatour. A lot of these, obviously, we don't have here, but I don't know if this rings a bell for, what the hell? All right. Jatour is one of them. Omoda. You have Jaku, Exceed. What else? There's Icar, Lepas, Luxeed. Like, we don't know any of these because none of them are here. But none of them are the ones that I was thinking there. So I got that one wrong. It's the Zhejiang Geely Holding Company. They own Volvo, Polestar, Lotus, Zeekr, Aston Martin, and Mercedes-Benz. Li Shufu remains one of the largest individual shareholders of Mercedes-Benz. He holds about 10%, so obviously they don't own Benz. They just have an investment there. That's interesting. They own Volvo 100%, and Volvo owns Polestar as well. So direct ownership of that. That's quite interesting there. All right. Want to clarify that to you.
Let's talk about the federal rescheduling in progress for the cannabis sector. The DOJ and U.S. President Donald Trump's administration have moved to reclassify marijuana to Schedule 3 under federal law as of yesterday. This change will replace cannabis alongside certain regulated drugs with recognized medical uses like Tylenol with codeine. Previously, marijuana has been a Schedule 1 drug and has been considered to have no medical use and high potential for abuse. Sorry, that rhymed. Previously, the DEA will evaluate whether to extend Schedule 3 status broadly in a hearing which is scheduled to take place on June 29th of this year. Let's understand that this move does not legalize the drug at the federal level. It's more viewed as a major step towards decriminalization. Prominent firms like Tilray, Canopy Growth, as well as Curaleaf have seen double-digit gains after the announcement.
So this is impact. This is interesting. It removes that tax burden, whatever, on 280E. That could, that was crushing profitability. Apparently, they could see significant inflows in their cash flow, their margins, their balance sheets could all be positively affected. But to me, they have a bit of a fragmented regulatory system in the United States. We don't have that here. Cannabis and drugs in general, for medical purposes, regulated the exclusive competency of the Fed. In the States, it's fragmented. You have FDA and then you have state regulated as well. So it kind of creates, a two kind of jurisdictional approach to the regulation. I think that probably could be a bit problematic if you're, state by state, but I think you guys are used to that there. It's not legalization though, but the banking, the capital access, the federal legality issues, they all remain overhangs. I don't know how you feel about this. I know you don't really care for these stocks that much. I don't think you're really that impressed, but what's your take, Joey?
I mean, like we're talking about something that was in the same scheduling as heroin. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
I don't like that either.
That's insane. But then you're going to classify it and say something like codeine and testosterone is equally as addictive. Like, why isn't that an inverse? Like, why isn't codeine in Schedule 1, essentially? I don't know. It just doesn't make that much sense to me. But one thing here, though, Shreve, is that I didn't expect this from the Republicans, right? Like, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
Right? Like, you know what I mean?
President Trump is a wild card, bro. You don't know what the hell he's going to do, when he's going to do it.
You would expect it more from a Democratic Party than you would from the Republicans.
But to be fair, we had cannabis legalized by a liberal government here. Your favorite Justin Trudeau his government was responsible for that.
Yeah.
But even the conservatives, when they were asked, they were like, we're not gonna roll back.
Yeah,
we're not gonna roll that back.
There's bigger issues.
Yeah, exactly.
But then Dougie
did it as well, and he's allowing them to open up at 7 a.m.
But
now.
remember when? Oh, really?
Yes.
It's not like it matters to me. No, it honestly doesn't matter.
I know it's not.
But what Dougie did, though,
I think
the
premier of this promise, kind of like the governor.
He implemented that lottery, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, right.
Just in the beginning.
Just
in the beginning. Now everybody and their mother can open up a cannabis store.
Well, that's what I was saying. Every other store here in the city is a weed store, essentially.
It is
literally like if you walk down Yonge Street, there's equally as many weed stores as there is like.
There's a lot, guys, especially downtown.
Yeah,
especially near my campus.
Yeah, on every corner.
Well, yeah. Shout out to Ryerson. I mean TMU. My bad.
Oh, Rye High. You don't like Rye High?
Rye High. Is that what they called it? I didn't actually know that. I didn't know that. All right, Sia, what do we got next?
Talking about XPEV next. XPeng is in discussions with overseas automakers for production partnerships and facilities outside China. So there's a lot of this I'm seeing today to reduce logistics and tariff friction. Chairman He Xiaopeng has confirmed a meeting with the CEO of Volkswagen to discuss their smoothly processing 3-year collaboration. The car maker is also eyeing new or upgraded EV plants starting from 2026 in Europe, Southeast Asia, as well as in Latin America. Localized manufacturing in markets like France and Germany is a priority for the company due to overseas demand and trade barriers, as we all know it. XPEV is joining hands with foreign automakers to commercialize its advanced driver assistance systems. The company is also investing in heavy in autonomous driving, robotaxis, humanoid robots, and flying cars. And who else do we know in that same competition? Anyways, the stock is up 3.2%.
See ya. No, here's what I have to say. So this is an industry I follow pretty closely, the Chinese EV industry. And look, it is a race to the bottom there now. All of them are competing with the others. They're all competing with one another, and they're all cutting their prices, so much so that it pissed off the Chinese regulator who told them to, quite frankly, cut it out, stop cutting your prices. So what are they going to do? They got to expand outside of China, and they've met so much resistance in doing that. Not allowed in the United States. Here, they can only sell about 50,000 cars per year, max, and they have to be below a certain price. And in Europe, Europe's taking a very interesting regulatory approach to Chinese EVs. They said, look, we know that the Chinese government subsidized your build-out. So what we're going to do is we're going to tariff you. But we're going to tariff you based on how much subsidy you received from the Chinese government. I think the best one so far has been BYD. That has the lowest rate. Some of the highest, XPEV, NEO, they have a lot of the higher rates, tariff rates by Europe. Now, what I want to get your opinion on, this is a very interesting topic. The Chinese never allowed American car makers to come into China willy-nilly. They forced them, Joey, to partner 50-50 with a Chinese automaker. Number one, there was two reasons for that, so that they could boost their own industry as well as getting technical know-how. See exactly how you're doing things, and then they learn and they adjust and they do their own thing. So basically, they said to you, you want access to our markets, you're going to have to split 50-50 with our companies. How come we're not doing that to them? Like, for example, right, we want more jobs in the United States. We want more factory jobs. Get the Chinese EVs to build in the U.S. Get them to build in Canada. Why do they have to build in China? You see what I'm saying?
100%, but I think a lot of that has to do with the union, right? Like we talk about the union.
But the unions are in Ford, they're in GM. You can't tell companies not to come here, like if they're going to build here.
Then you have the issue that's happening. So let's talk. So then we have the issue what's going on with China. It's a race to the bottom. So if you have that full-on exposure of these Chinese EVs in the Western world, then what happens to the legacy automakers?
Oh, so the consumer can get rinsed as long as the legacy automaker is okay.
Yeah, exactly. Well, has it not been like that? How many times have they been bailed out? You know what I mean?
You're not wrong, bro.
Right?
You are
like
not
they've been
wrong.
bailed. And I mean, let's be serious. Like we have the Chinese.
Is getting lit over there.
Right. It's only like, so you're bringing in 50,000 of these vehicles. It's only 3% of the total addressable market, essentially, right? So it's nothing substantial, but it would be a complete race to the bottom, essentially. If that's just how it's been. They've been bailed out.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
Yeah, they bailed out the airlines. Obviously, it's going to be passed on to the consumer. What's up, man? You got your mic on?
Go get it, Katina,
Of course I got my mic on. Come on, I'm a professional over here. Is it muted? No, okay, fine. I was just going to say, while I was in Mexico, just to your point, I saw two BYD dealerships.
What'd you think?
I mean, I didn't go in them when we were driving by them, but I thought that, just to your point, I think that other places other than North America, well, I know Mexico's in North America, but here in Canada or in the United States, there are other markets for cars like this, especially at the lower end. So I think BYD does have a good footprint in some countries, and I just wanted to note that there was a few that I had seen there in Mexico.
Yeah, I mean, didn't Assassino say they're in Brazil? Like they're
all over.
Yeah,
he says
Brazil,
they're a lot.
There's a
they're
lot
all
in
over,
Brazil,
man.
right?
I mean,
So I mean, they're just not allowed because it would be horrible for what we got going on.
Hey, but then we have to pay an average price for a new car is over $60,000 in this country.
Yeah, dude. Listen,
Come
like,
on,
yeah, I know,
dude.
I know, dude. But it's just a rinse fest.
Dude. All right, we gotta go back. We gotta go to the next story. Let's go to the next story.
Amazon-backed X Energy has raised over $1 billion in IPO. Look at that chart over there. X Energy has said as of yesterday that it has raised $1.02 billion in initial public offering in the United States. What we do know is that nuclear power is drawing renewed interest as electricity needs are surging, particularly from hyperscalers that are running energy-intensive AI and cloud infrastructure. Amazon had invested about $500 million in the company back in the year 2024 to support the rollout of its SMR technology because Amazon had been seeking carbon-free power for its growing AI-driven data center footprint. X Energy as well had previously planned to go public through a merger with a blank check firm backed by Ares Management, again, back in 2023. But later scrapped those plans because their market was unfavorable for that. JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Jefferies, and Moelis are acting as the lead joint book running managers for this. X Energy has begun trading on the NASDAQ today under the symbol XE.
This is what the chart looks like.
Yeah.
It failed. It failed 30. There was a big buyer at 30. It looks like there's a buyer at around 28.5. Joey, I don't know anything about this company because it just IPO today, other than what they did at the IPO level. But I like SMRs, small modular reactors.
Yeah.
We're building them in this province, north, so that we can kind of help with the northern communities have, kind of similar living standards to what we have here. And I think that's a noble thing.
Yeah.
But I do like them for their scalability, Joey. You don't have to have a big output, gigawatts. You don't have to have terawatts. You can scale. You add one modular reactor, you add another as your demand rises. So I do like that. I think there is some drawbacks. I know the chat's going to chime in about some of the drawbacks of SMR. I get the ickiness or the desire to stay away from nuclear because of what's happened in the past with Chernobyl and the I forget the name of the Japanese one with the tsunami as well. But I think that the technology's changed since that time, and you learn sadly from these disasters. Right?
Yeah,
and you improve and you try to take more safety precautions.
Fukushima is.
Fukushima, thank you, Joey, for that. So that's what I do like nuclear. I think it is one of those ones we need to be pragmatic about.
Yep.
We're not going to have solar and wind take over anytime soon.
No.
That's the goal. And then if you're really looking down the road, you're thinking fusion. That's the next part of the century.
I think that's the next step. I'm not surprised by this because we already think about some of the names that are already established in the market. You're just talking about new scale power SMR, then you have the AUKUS, and you have the nanonuclears. But I don't know how much of a factor, just because Amazon has its ties with this name, is it going to be a major player within that game, right? Like you talk about this.
Helps.
Yeah, right? Like absolutely.
And Joey, they're probably going to use it to bring your own power. Like when they build out these data centers, there's probably going to become
that's where it's going to work better for them in that place, right? Like, so you have that investment. It's kind of like what Apple has in the project that Amazon wants to buy via satellites. I can't remember. Global Star as well, too, right? So something along those lines. They raised over just a little bit more than $1 billion. They were expecting that to come in at $700 million. That's why the opening price listed at $23 there. It was more or less looking to come in around 16 or 19, but that's not the case.
All right. It's 1:59. We got another minute. Thank you, Sia, for the news. All right, let's just do a quick trade review. Sadly, this will be my first day negative on the week, but we will go 4 for 5 on the week. Not bad, but we will go a little bit negative today because of some boneheaded trades, but we were definitely able to come off the bottom there with that nice trade on XLE. ATOM had a decent look. MXL just bouncing off VWAP here. It's kind of the same look with MXL and MX, where MX is also finding a little bit of support at the volume-weighted average price. SCNI, how's this one doing? Looking for that. That's below VWAP still. MSOS, this ended up being a bigger loser for me. We took a big position on this one and then it ended up losing the 10 EMA. I got stopped out right there. It ended up taking out some highs into 329, but didn't really get a much on it. Poet as well was a good one. It's very bull flaggish, but has basically done nothing into the afternoon, Joey. A little above 15, a little below 14, brother.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, it's 2 o'clock now. I hope everyone had a fantastic one. Man, just keep on keeping on. I forget who said that.
Joe Dirt, my boy. You got to keep on keeping on.
Yeah, so just keep on keeping on. It's only a couple of days until Monday, and the market will be open once again. So, yeah, let's rock and roll.
I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend, man.
Let's go.
Sending you to the Katina Man that way.